Opening kick, 3 and out. They punted away. And on the first play from scrimmage, Florida State's Chris Ricks is intercepted by DeQuell Jackson of Largo, Florida, who grew up dreaming of playing for the Seminoles. He returns at 58 yards, and it's 7-0 Terps.
And you know what? This is monster ball here. This is a guy that was determined to get to the end zone, and coach, he jumped underneath the option route by the fullback. A poor read by Chris Ricks and throwing it to the flat.
Poor read by Chris Ricks. A wonderful play by DeQuell Jackson, who obviously watched Greg Jones a week ago, the Florida State tailback, running over Dexter Reed of North Carolina. He took a page from Greg's book and drilled Ricks and Booker.
He wanted two of them
in the end zone.
He wanted 2 of them, didn't he?
Just for good measure.
But he didn't get the helmet knocked off.
Wow.
Ralph Friedgen has had the most successful first 2 years of any coach in ACC history. And Bobby Bowden, of course, 3rd winningest in terms of percentage among active coaches. 4 wins behind Joe Paterno's all-time Division 1A record of 337. And it is a stunned sellout of 82,000 plus in Tallahassee.
That is precisely the kind of play that Maryland must make to have a chance in this game.
Novak to kick it off for the Terps. 13-0 Seminoles. Average margin more than 32 points per meeting. They've never come closer than 14 points, but the Terps have a quick 7-0 lead. And a fired-up special team hit on this return, which doesn't go very far at all for Antonio Cromartie. Now, how does Chris Ricks respond to the first pass he throws, turning 58 yards the other way for points? Well, Bobby Bowden says he may be the most misunderstood, misrepresented player he's had in a while. He has had certainly more downs than ups the last couple of years by the standards of that position at Florida State. Bowden, one of his biggest backers, though, and expects him to have a very strong junior year. 3rd year as a starter. First hit for Greg Jones and the senior tailback. Looks in vain for room around the left corner. So the Bud Light starting lineup's looking this way.
And you know what? Greg Jones right there, number 6. You saw him. He is an outstanding runner with a lot of power. Maryland has to push him to the outside just like they did there if they want to have any chance at success.
Jones, no gain. We'll see him. We'll see Lorenzo Booker. Maybe some Willie Reed at tailback. Right now, Florida State in an early 7-0 hole. There is room this time. Left corner, and Jones gets it turned and out at the 29-yard line. A gain of 14 yards. The offensive line will line up this way, with Barron, Meinrod, Castillo, Meeks, and Willis. On the defensive front, Maryland. Randy Starks getting some comparisons to another Randy who played defensive tackle a few years ago at Maryland. That would be Randy White.
10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Repeat the down.
Jim Knight, our referee, and that 13-yard pickup by Jones wiped out by Pendley. Rest of the Terp defense.
Number 52, DeQuell Jackson, already making a dominating play. 15 tackles a week ago in his first start.
And a very talented, experienced secondary. 3 seniors and a junior Foxworth, who is every bit as good as those seniors. Ricks throwing that one in the general direction of an eligible receiver, basically just throwing that one away, and Florida State backing up and clearly in shock. A state of shock after a 58-yard interception by DeQuell Jackson to get things underway. Now up to Chris Ricks to try and remember how he played all week long, and Bobby Bowden continues to be one of his biggest backers. 37-0 last week is what they expect more of from him and from the Seminoles this year.
They do, and Coach Bowden is ardently backing his quarterback and this team. If you get in a foxhole, you want Bobby Bowden on your side.
3rd and 15, hit as he delivers, and the receiver turns the wrong way that time. PK Sam, and so Maryland with a 3-and-out the first time Florida State gets it after they return that. And their mindset is going to be something to watch, Craig, because this is the team that was shockingly defeated at Northern Illinois last week.
And you know what, which could have lulled Florida State into a false sense of hope and encouragement here or there. But Maryland's a football team that has several things they need to have happen tonight, one of which is just a good start, which they've done already. And now it's kind of like, hey, what's going on out here? Florida State's in a shock.
So kicking from the own end zone, the Seminoles will give Maryland outstanding field position. Steve Suter injured a week ago, as was Bruce Perry. They missed both of them, and a 16-yard return of a 40-yard kick. So Maryland with a 7-0 lead, field position, and a very quiet sellout at Doak Campbell Stadium in the first quarter.
What you doing, Brian?
I'm just putting my name and address in these bottles and sending them out to sea. Hopefully someone will find them and contact me someday.
Wow.
Yeah, wow. Why? Why do you torture me, Brian Henderson of 12 Maple Lane?
For the great taste that won't fill you up and never lets you down, make it a Bud Light.
Brian. Nice to meet you.
Eyes get dry, scratchy, irritated. Visine Tears can soothe, moisturize, and protect like your own natural tears. And it's safe to use as often as you need. Visine Tears relieves dry eyes like your own natural tears.
Meet Roy Williams, playmaker. He's got more speed than Daytona and harder hits than a demolition derby.
Out of control.
Think you can anticipate and devastate like Roy?
Yeah, right.
Throwback with Playmaker Control. Only in Madden NFL 2004.
The official game of Playmakers.
Rated E for everyone. EA Sports. It's in the game.
The Home Depot is more than a store. It's the only place to find all the great brands. Everything from GE to Thomasville. Names you know that will give your home the look you've always dreamed of. To beautify any bath or kitchen, consider the sophistication of Moen faucets. Their large assortment of designs can add style and quality to your home. Only one place has these distinctive styles from Moen, as well as helpful advice and guaranteed everyday low prices. The Home Depot. You can do it. We can help.
Now, one man must stand between the living and the dead.
I order you back to hell!
Heath Ledger.
It's you and me.
Cross my heart. Hope to die.
The Order. Rated R. Now playing only in theaters.
20 years of college football on ESPN. Maryland 7-0 early in the first quarter on the 58-yard Dequel Jackson interception return. Bruce Perry did start today. There was mystery all week. Ralph Friedgen saying he would not play him unless he was 100%. As the week went on, he said, well, maybe 95% will be good enough. And turns out that the high ankle sprain that kept him out of the Northern Illinois game has healed well enough to get him in the opening lineup. Let's welcome the fourth member of our crew on the sidelines with us tonight, Rob Stone.
Well, Bruce practiced all week at full strength, spoke with the head trainer just before kickoff. She told me they gave him a litany of tests that he had to pass to get on the field. He passed them all. Watched him during warm-ups. No problems on cuts. Only a little gimpy stopping. Watched him on the sidelines during this break. He kept on moving to keep that ankle loose so it wouldn't lock up on him.
And he has now carried it 3 times for a total of 1 yard. All up the middle. There has been no room for him. But Perry is the ACC Offensive Player of the Year from 2 years ago, the season that Maryland surprised their way to the ACC Championship and the Orange Bowl. 1,200 yards rushing that year. Needing 222 coming into tonight for 2,000 in his Maryland career. He would be one of 8 to get to 2,000 rushing yards. No gain. First option, Scott McBrien will keep. And McBrien with a first down, run out of bounds at the 23-yard line by B.J. Ward after a gain of 11. Something you have to prepare for when you have a Ralph Friedgen offense, you're just never sure, Bill, when that option's going to show up.
It's just so important against a team like Ohio State, a team like Florida State, because they have great team speed and closing speed. And what option football does is it forces responsibility. Everybody has to stay and play their responsibility before running to the ball.
Nick Bryan, a senior from Rockville, began his career at West Virginia, transferred, walked on, and starts for the Terps now. Flag is down and whistles as Perry takes this pitch.
Oh, man, Ralph Friedgen is sick because that was a big gainer there. They've got him outnumbered. They have nailed him on two options in a row.
False start, offense, 5-yard penalty.
And you know what's going on right now is you've got Friedgen trying to put a little doubt in that defense. Mickey Andrews, defensive coordinator at Florida State, is trying to figure out, all right, Big Fridge, what you going to bring to me today?
Bud Light offensive line, Maryland. Seniors at the wide receiver spots, Williams and Harrison. Fiddler also a senior. Perry likewise. Lots of experience on this Maryland offense. Which now looks at 1st and 15. 4 wides and a shotgun. And McBrien keeping on the option pitch. Rich Parson blown up. Rich Parson trying to get around the corner. Nothing doing. B.J. Ward up again from free safety. This front featuring a little less experience than the skill spots. Tyler and Dumas are the only seniors.
And across the ball, Darnell Dockett, the all-time leader in tackles for loss at Florida State with 49. Think about who we're talking about. He has beaten out for tackles in the backfield.
Lots of big names that he's surpassed.
Former Maryland High School Player of the Year from Burtonsville. 2nd and 15. And McBrien well protected, gunning for the end zone. And incomplete, intended for Latrez Harrison. Linebackers for the Seminoles. All seniors. Bulway, of course, the brother of the Ravens, Peter, previous great on an outstanding Florida State defense. Kendall Pope moving up to the top 10 in career tackles. And Augustin, a former walk-on, now starting in the middle.
Tells you a little bit about his motor to be a walk-on at Florida State and make a football team.
Hey, walk-on football players are the best people in the world.
I knew I'd get you button on that one.
So a 3rd and 15 for Maryland. Not wanting to squander.
Playing this month on Dish on Demand pay-per-view.
I hope you're ready for this.
Final Destination 2.
Let's get it on. Who are you?
Cradle to the Grave.
My Rangers are gods.
They're dead, aren't they?
Basic. Take a break from routine TV. Order a pay-per-view movie from Dish on Demand.
Every Saturday night, new hit movies premiere only on Stars. Premiering this month.
You're gonna be great. I got a feeling about you.
Hello.
Hi.
Money is what life is all about. Getting it, losing it, needing it.
Premiering Saturday nights this month only on Stars. One of 8 great channels in the Stars Super Pack on Dish Network.
Retirement. It's a lot more enjoyable when Lincoln's looking out for you. See your financial advisor or call 1-877-ASK-LINCOLN for details.
I will not be afraid of the dark.
I will not feel guilty leaving my dog alone.
I will know my children are safe.
I will finally be able to relax!
At ADT, we help more people feel safe in more ways than any other security company. A single ADT system can help protect your home and family from burglary, fire, and carbon monoxide at a price you can afford. Plus, save up to 20% on your homeowner's insurance. Call 1-800-ADT-ASAP.
College rivalries never die. That's why there's the ESPN Game Plan College Football Pay-Per-View Package. To order, call your local cable company, DirecTV, or Dish Network.
ESPN2's College Football Saturday. Brought to you by Bud Light. For the great taste that won't fill you up and never lets you down. Make it a Bud Light. And by Lincoln Financial Group. Clear solutions in a complex world.
Rain coming down now in Tallahassee. Bobby Bowden in his 38th year, 333 wins, 4 behind Joe Paterno for first all-time Division I-A victories. Not real happy at the moment. He's down 7-0. Terps will snap from the Seminoles' 28-yard line, but they need 15 yards on third down. This time McBrien has to dump it as he is chased by Eric Moore. And a strong Seminole defensive stand after the big punt return by Suter. That'll bring on the near automatic kicker Nick Novak, who is at 37 of his last 42. His only 2 misses, only 2 of those 5 misses have been inside 50 yards. He's one of the top scorers returning in college football this year. 2 for 2 last week, 46 and 50-yarders. Here comes a 45-yarder. And Novak's kick is good. So he continues his terrific run of accuracy and extends this early Maryland lead to 10-0. Maryland is hoping that whatever is in the water around the country today in college football is in their supply too, because look what's already happened. Number 11 NC State never really showing up in that upset by Wake Forest. Virginia blown out by South Carolina. Auburn loses at Georgia Tech. Auburn still has not scored a touchdown in their first game.
They played the Yellow Jackets today. What'd you expect?
Well, you know what I would expect in this particular football game? For Bobby Bowden to go over and say, hey, I don't care what Ralph Friedgen and those guys are doing out there. You football players on my team, you worry about getting your job done. It's Mickey Andrews' job, Jeff Bowden's job, my job to figure out the strategy. You make the plays on the field.
You could tell distinctly in talking with Mickey Andrews, the defensive coordinator, Bobby Bowden, the head coach, and Jeff Bowden, the offensive coordinator, Bobby's son, that they were all thinking about Ralph Friedgen, the coaches. And you're exactly right. What you got to do is to let the coaches think about the coaches and get the players to play.
And Kendall Pope, linebacker. I mean, these are smart players. They're already over there thinking about that. It's a game on the field. Execute down there.
In his first 2 seasons, Ralph Friedgen has not lost consecutive games in either 2001 or 2002. 11-3 last year, despite a 1-2 start. So he has overcome early disappointment before. Novak's kick will come out to the 25-yard line. A return of 17.
One of the things that Ralph Friedgen was really pleased about in the Northern Illinois game, despite the fact that they lost a heartbreaker, was the play of the special teams. They were absolutely superb in coverage, punting the ball, the place kicking, and they started out exactly the same way tonight, Craig.
You got to play every phase of the game if you're going to have any chance at Florida State to upset and beat them. And Maryland is a team that feels like they should be 1-0, and they're trying to prove that this is where they belong on top of Florida State.
Lorenzo Booker will get this series at tailback. Prize freshman recruit. Redshirted last year out of Ventura, California. Ricks steps up, keeps, slides, and gets about 4 yards.
Now,
on the very first play from scrimmage, Ricks went to the air, and here's what happened. From Maryland,
and I think what you saw there was the speed of the linebackers. Maryland's linebacking crew has speed, Coach. They make plays.
This guy, they need to move him to tailback and let him play both ways. Look at him run with the football. Linebackers usually bat those down.
DeQuell Jackson of Largo, Florida. 2nd down and 6 after the Ricks keeper. His pitch goes to the wide side of the field, and Booker steps out of bounds after a first down gain of 12 yards. They have a real change of pace. Greg Jones, powerful 255-pounder. Booker scatters around back there, 5'11", 185, much quicker.
This will make you stay at home, too.
Exactly. Football. I was about to say, they make those linebackers squat with a misdirection, and boom, Booker's on the corner.
And if you squat long with Booker, you'll be watching his backside.
Exactly.
Lorenzo Booker, leading rusher at 87-yard Davis, 11 carries against the Tar Heels. A deep ball into double coverage. And almost intercepted. Here comes the flag intended for Crafonzo Thorpe, and Dominique Foxworth breaks it up, but we do have a flag.
We were there, Maryland versus Clemson, when Dominique was a true freshman and had his very first start in a very big game. He was marvelous then. Looks like maybe he was pushing on this one. That's what he's going to be called for. Yep, a little push there.
You know what? Williams is the guy who's got the pass interference. He turns and runs in. But Foxworth comes over. He's got a chance. He can play the ball. Foxworth has the same right to go to the football as the wide receiver.
But Madu Williams did interfere. Yeah, it was a good call.
Those 4 penalties in the fourth quarter as big as any factor in that upset, because they helped Northern Illinois put together what was an 18-play drive to help them get to overtime when they won it 20-13. With some confusion, looking to the sideline to make sure he's got the call. And a problem on the shotgun snap. Still rolling around loose. And finally out of bounds.
Now, Dave, you posed the question, a rhetorical question about what is Ricks going to do in response to that first interception. I think we've got our answer. He's been hesitant throwing the ball. He's thrown the ball into double coverage, and now he has dropped a gun snap because he's losing his concentration.
You see what they're doing. No huddle. Go to the line of scrimmage. Change the pace. Try to create some momentum.
He's got to catch the snap, though.
Well, you know, he sure does that. That's a fact.
A little bit of rain shouldn't be that much to cause ball handling difficulties yet. Long out and a stretching grab by Chris Davis. Are they ever high on this redshirt freshman? He says, Jeff Bowden says, this is our next Peter Warrick.
Did you see that catch? That was a great catch, but the problem with the football, according to the coaches, David Castillo, the center, number 63, sweats on the football too much.
He didn't sweat on this one. Davis had no sweat to deal with on this. I mean, look at that. In one, the left foot comes down in bounds. Great
Chris Davis is a game breaker.
Still need 8 on third down. Good toss over the middle. Thorpe. And Thorpe will have the first down with the 33 of the Terps.
Now, I was a center for 20 years, but I had long arms. David Castillo, number 63, is a very good center, but he has short arms, so his head leans over the ball, and he drips sweat on the football. So you'll see a sleeve on his right arm try to absorb the sweat from running down his arm. See how it's up, see how he's dripping on it? Quarterbacks don't like that. Quarterbacks are very delicate organisms. Yes, you have to understand. They require care.
Require dry ball. That's understandable enough. Looks for time. Now steps up Keats. And some nifty maneuvering. First down to the 15-yard line. 18 yards. Ricks did it all by himself.
Jeff Bowden, the offensive coordinator, told us, you know, I'm not going to make a big deal out of Ricks running the football. I'm going to kind of treat him like Vic. You know what? Coach Bowden said, look, let's just, whatever happens out there, if you take off and run, it better be a good play. And then look at the footwork's there, no balls, nothing there. Everybody's dropped out. He's a good, strong runner. The right decision, and he made a big play.
So from the 15 of Maryland, first down to 10. Florida State down 10-0. We're less than 7 minutes into this game. Booker takes the toss sweep. Ends out about 3 yards. Lorenzo Booker and Greg Jones, and they say both of them that the most talented tailback may be Leon Washington, who's out this week with a dislocated elbow. We won't see him today.
Now, Paul Irons, number 38, the tight end's laid off the ball. Jamal Cochran, 49, stuffs him, forces the play back inside. Nice job by the defensive end, Cochran. That's good defensive football.
So Booker gets two tight ends, and movement from the left tackle, Ray Willis.
You got a double whammy, and what you have to deal with here. Booker and Jones, there's two distinct running styles here. Jones will deliver the bone. Last week they said this is dang wrong to do this to a defender. Dang wrong. And then you got Booker, the freshman, who can get you on the outside. It's the speed game. Now, Jones can run too, but it's one of those games where, Coach, you got to be ready for a little bit of both.
And you really can't defend everything all the time. The misdirection pitch to Booker has been the best play of the game for FSU.
Well, Jones has a highlight that's going to follow him his entire life. Ricks looking end zone. One-on-one coverage. Caught. Touchdown, Thorpe. First touchdown this year for the junior out of Tallahassee.
Crefonzo Thorpe, the fastest man in the ACC, won the 100 meters in the track competition, won the race with Dominique Foxworth, number 6. A fine corner, but just got beat by a matter of inches, and a perfect throw from Ricks.
Junior Xavier Bethia makes it 10-7 Maryland. So the Seminoles settle it down and march down the field with Booker at tailback. A couple of key keeps by Ricks. And this strike to Crefonzo Thorpe. And the Seminoles are on the board in the first quarter.
This week on Sunday NFL Countdown. Fresh faces.
You want some of this?
Fresh mouths. And a mouthful of predictions for the 2003 season.
You want to make this team a playoff team, boys?
Plus, Emmett in Arizona. Sunday at 11 a.m. on ESPN.
Tuesday on the critically acclaimed Playmakers.
Hey, Harris, you suck.
Take it someplace else.
You want me to lie to the cops about a murder? I'm ready to make my statement.
Who was with you in the club?
Playmakers, Tuesday, 9 p.m. on ESPN.
Jim Brewer, heavy metal comedy.
You got a full-blown party going on. Ma, nobody's gonna drink tonight, all right?
Listen, I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm a little you.
Oh, we got a situation in here. Come on, man. We won't start no trouble.
First time on television.
Oh, this is a nightmare. Grab onto the rail!
When rock and comedy collide, you'll get Jim Brewer, heavy metal comedy.
In a city ruled by fear, a stranger to the streets.
His name's Amsterdam.
Amsterdam? I'm New York.
Is up against the man who owns them.
Everybody owes, everybody pays. Challenge.
Leonardo DiCaprio, Daniel Day-Lewis, Cameron Diaz. Gangs of New York.
Sold out house, 82,000 plus, Doak Campbell Stadium, Tallahassee, Florida. And number 10, Florida State on the board after falling quickly behind 10-0. Dave Barnett with Bill Curry, Craig James, Rob Stone. 8 plays, he goes 75 yards. And Ricks to Crefonzo Thorpe to finish it off. Now McBrien and the Terp offense ready to try and respond. Bethia, 7 kickoffs last week at North Carolina. All were touchbacks. This time, however, into a fairly stiff wind, which really picked up right about kickoff time tonight. This is JoJo Walker. And a return of 15 yards. A rematch of last year's AFC Championship game. Steve McNair and the Titans looking for retribution against Rich Gannon and the Raiders on Sunday Night Football. 8:30 Eastern on ESPN and available nationwide on ESPN HD. Don't forget Monday Night Countdown, presented by UPS, providing comprehensive analysis, interviews, highlights up to the minute NFL news, and live reports leading up to Monday Night Football. The Buccaneers and the Eagles at 9 Eastern. From the 20, out of the eye. Third possession for the Terps. And McBrien, the left-hander, rolling and throwing complete. For the 33 goes Latrez Harrison, the senior out of Atlanta, good for 13 yards. And the Noles have their hands full trying to keep track of McBrien with the options, with the scrambles, and with this strong arm.
Coach 8 in the box. He's checking at the line of scrimmage. Yep. He's going to throw the football. Earlier they had 6 in the box. They ran the football.
Is that an 8 that you made there?
That was an 8. That was a crazy 8.
Ryan, one of 22 seniors, up from 10 last year. Pump fake, deep, overthrown for Harrison. He had a step on his man, B.J. Ward. He has a number of good targets to throw to. Harrison 6'2", Jafar Williams, the other wideout 6'2". Their backups are better than 6 feet tall. Tight end Dugan 6'5", another tight end Derek Miller 6'8".
Two things I've noticed, excuse me, Dave. Two things I've noticed about the Florida State defense. They aren't jumping around and stunting, and that's because of the option. Helps the pass protection, helps the run blocking.
They are very respectful of Ralph Friedgen and his system. Intercepted, jumping the pattern, Leroy Smith. First and goal, Florida State at the 8-yard line. A 31-yard return by Leroy Smith.
On the play before, Harrison faked it. It was a pump and go. They come back with the same play. This was dumb. What are they thinking about? You can't run that same play in a row. That's Smith squatted on it.
Well, you've got a senior quarterback, and you think that he can read the coverage and not assume that Smith's not sitting on the out, because he had a safety behind him. That's what you teach. That's what quarterback coaches teach. Ralph Friedgen teaches that if he's got a safety back there, he's going to jump the out.
Yeah, that was dumb. That was a freshman move.
6 turnovers in this meeting last year, all costly for Maryland. Greg Jones turn at tailback, and he heads up the middle, bounces it out to the left side now. There's that stiff arm, and a flag is down. Jones dragged down by Denard Wilson at the 1.
They may call Jones for a face mask here. He put that hand out. He would not have done it intentionally, but sometimes a runner gets a hold of a face mask. That's what it looked like to me. Yeah, the Maryland players are clapping.
Yeah. Boy, and you know what? When we shook his hand yesterday, he's got meat on his hands.
He is all man. I said, you must love to work out. Look at his arms. Look what.
By the offense.
He moved too fast. He got it on. I said,
from the start of the foul.
You must love being in the weight room. He said, I detest the weight room. They have to make me go in there.
Yeah, just a blow to the face mask. He holds on to it. He needs to work more. It just gets hung up. Absolutely a nice call by the officials. He needs to go ahead and get, with his body power and leverage, he needs to go ahead and get into the defender, into their chest. He'll run through a lot of smaller defensive backs.
Like a young Craig James.
Oh, I never had the hammers that this man has.
He's got you about 50 pounds or so if you're playing weight, didn't he? Jones, this time to the right side. And the closing speed of Madu Williams up from free safety to drag Jones down inside the 15.
And, you know, a little bit earlier here, on this interception, he's trying to read, here's your safeties and your secondary that's going to go back in the corner squats in the flat. They had the pump and go while on the play before. The play before, the corner found it, bit, and tried to go back with Harris. That time, there was no faking with it.
He had a free safety, and when there's a corner back there, he is going to jump the out cut.
Still goal to go from the 14, second down. Ricks off the play fake. Line time. Directs traffic into the corner of the end zone to P.K. Sam. He had to throw it away. It'll be 3rd and goal from the 14. Well defended that time by Maryland.
Chris Ricks has a marvelous personal coach. I mean, the quarterback coach is Darryl Dickey. Darryl and I worked together 5 years. He's wonderful. His demeanor with play. There's Darryl right there. He got Chris calmed down. He's made some wonderful throws. He's run out of there when he should have run. He's gotten back in control of the football game, which is exactly what Darryl's objective is in working with him, keeping him calm.
Chris Davis into the game. Wide left along with Sam. On 3rd and goal, they pitch to Booker in a foot race and runs out of room. Right around the 10-yard line. So Maryland thanks to the face mask penalty against Greg Jones, will force the field goal try.
Look at the corner coming off up here. They've got a blitz up with the linebacker coming off the slot. Gary Blackney, defensive coordinator, had the right call on, and Booker still almost outran him to the corner.
Yeah, but then he had his friends, got some help from his friends coming up in force, and the person of Jerome Cox, number 30, and got him out of bounds.
80 to try 28-yarder. To tie this game up at 10 apiece. It is blocked. Here comes a return for Maryland. And DeQuell Jackson again showing up with the big play for the Terps. He has an interception return of 58 yards. Gets a hand on this kick by Badia and keeps the Terps on top by 3.
You talk about a swing here and overcoming an interception and a bonehead play, and Jackson showing up to play right up the gut.
He just drilled them. They were weak in field goal protection a week ago. Last week against North Carolina, they had a field goal block. Same way, an extra point actually, which ended Batia's string. They got beat again. They did not get the special teams corrected.
2 plays the likes of which you have to have to win in a place like Tallahassee. Interception, return, block, kicks. Going to take a lot more where those came from, though. This should be offsides Travis Johnson of Florida State. And with the flags down, let's hear from Matt Weiner in the studio.
Dave, Taco Bell takes us to Stillwater, Oklahoma. Oklahoma State coming off that tough loss at Nebraska, taking on Wyoming. This is Gabe Lindsey. Some nifty moves down the sideline, right? Goes 52 yards, winds up on the opposite side of the field, and finally gets in from 52 out. 17-zip Cowboys in the second.
Oklahoma State had their chance for the statement game at Lincoln. But one drive. That was all they had 1 week ago. Here's 1st and 5 after the mark-off against FSU. And a strike from McBrien. At midfield, out of bounds, goes JoJo Walker, sophomore from Carrollton, Texas, and that's 22 yards.
Something that we can follow along here in this ball game that we really enjoyed hearing from Ralph Friedgen was the Fridge formula, what he uses to kind of determine what's going on. He goes in and he takes all the penalties and the bad things that happen in a football game. He divides it by the number of plays that they've run. If it's 12% or less, meaning if they're good 88% of the time, he has never lost. We'll track it for you.
Mostly good plays so far in this first 10 minutes. From midfield. Not much on the ground so far. This is Sammy Maldonado, a transfer from Ohio State. Let's go down below to Rob.
Hard for a college coach to avoid the BCS conversation, even if he's doing injury rehab. Ralph Friedgen, he had his right hip replaced in mid-May. The physical therapist working with him gave him this rehab motto, BCS. Don't bend, don't cross legs, don't swivel hips. Coach Friedgen taking the BCS controversy to a new level of pain.
2nd and 8. Play fake. McBrien gunning the out. Incomplete. Stanford Samuels had the coverage on Derek Fenner. Samuels, a senior out of Miami, 3 interceptions. Tops on the team last year. Close to one there. It'll be 3rd and 8.
If I were coaching the receivers at Maryland this week, I would have said, fellas, you've got to come back to the football. And McBrien, you've got to throw the ball in front of them. You have to lead them this week because of the convergence of those DBs. The speed, how quickly they get to the ball. You better not throw it behind a receiver.
They spread them out with 3 wides. Perry back into the game. They need 8. They're coming after McBrien. Gets it off. Guns it complete. First down to the 38. Derek Fenner. And again, let's get an update from Matt.
All right, Dave, one of the other primetime matchups this evening. Florida down south to visit Miami. Opening kickoff, Devin Hester, 97 yards. A lot of talk about a talent gap. There's some talent for you and some speed. Canes quickly up 7-0.
There are a few folks in this stadium with the battery-powered TVs, whatever they need to keep track of those 2 future Seminole opponents going on as this one is. This is a delay penalty. Wow, they had picked up the first. Now they march it back 5, and it's 3rd and 13. Nobody could hear that whistle. It was a late flag, and it wipes out the first down catch by Fenner. And the Fridge wants timeout. Nobody can hear him or see him. Now finally Steve Shooter does. Smart. Second timeout for the Terps. 4:18, first quarter. Maryland 10, Florida State 7, and a 3rd and long coming.
Drink intelligently. A reminder from Smirnoff Ice Triple Black Premium Malt Beverage, proud sponsor of Matt Kenseth and the number 17 car.
We started this thing, and now we're on top. Everybody's trying to knock us off. It's us versus them. We must protect this house. Will you protect this house? I will. Unarmed. We must protect this house.
What are you waiting for?
A loan officer. I'm trying to get a home equity line.
I'm from eLoan. Unlike this bank, we'll get you a decision in minutes. Here.
I'm approved.
We'll even come to you to sign the papers. And you'll have your money as quick as 12 days. So you get your cash fast at a great rate. Still want to wait for that loan officer?
Not anymore.
A bank shouldn't come between you and your money. That's why there's eLoan. Apply now at eLoan.com or call 1-800-ELOAN-22.
After the timeout, now Maryland ready on the 3rd and 13. They need to get to the 40 of the Seminoles. And McBrien out of the gun again. Steps up, he's sacked. A loss of 3. Eric Moore.
Maryland has self-destructed again. And Ralph Friedgen knows that if this happens many times, they got no chance in this game.
You saw how they brought 5 there. They showed that the backer was going to drop out. Pope ends up coming, and those 5 were able to create an opportunity on defense. But you know what? I'd say this. Think back. If you're Friedgen, you got to be pretty darn glad that your defense held them and you blocked a field goal a while ago. Wasn't that long ago?
Yes. He's not glad because he got to delay a game on a first cost him a first down at the 30-yard line.
But it could be 10-10.
Adam Podlish's kick, fair caught by Dominic Robinson. And even with a strong wind at his back, just 37 yards. Each Sunday morning, join Chris Berman, Tom Jackson, Steve Young, and Chris Mortensen, along with spirited new additions, Michael Irvin and Rush Limbaugh, for NFL Countdown, presented by Old Spice, 11 a.m. Eastern. Reports from all games up to the minute news and stats, plus a weekly feature by John Madden and everything you need to know right up until kickoff each Sunday morning. So Florida State from their 18-yard line, they trail 10-7 because of that man, Equel Jackson's 58-yard interception return on the Noles' first play from scrimmage. And Novak later added a field goal. Overthrown, intended for P.K. Sam, the junior receiver from Buford, Georgia. You always expect Florida State to have, if not the most talented group, one of the top 2 or 3 groups of receivers in the country, and they seem to think they have that group with experience added. It's going to take some time for them to get there, but they think the physical tools are there as a group.
They've got the speed and the hands and the foot movement and the grace that you're accustomed to seeing from them.
Not a great start for Ricks. More effective with those 2 rushes. With the exception of the touchdown strike to Thorpe. Over the middle this time. And Matt Henshaw, the converted quarterback, now a second tight end, comes up close to a first down. Ricks' first quarter so far did not get off to a good start. But he bounced back. There you have it in a nutshell. Those 2 plays, the story of this opening period. 10-7 Maryland. 3rd and 1 coming for the Noles. One of the top quarterbacks in school history. That's through just 2 seasons and 1 game. And Ricks trying to keep, and he is knocked backwards and will not have the first down yardage. And it was Jackson who knocked him back.
Ricks does not run quarterback sneaks well. You get your pads down, keep your head up, and you get in behind those big rear ends. You don't stand up straight and get drilled by somebody like DeQuell Jackson who knocks you back. He had no chance to make that first down. I'm amazed. Darrell Dickey knows how to teach quarterback sneaks, and Ricks just stood up and made himself a target.
So far, they haven't lost anything without E.J. Henderson at middle linebacker.
I was going to come to that.
I mean, DeQuell is every bit E.J. Henderson caliber so far. Suter, one of the most dangerous return men in the country, tied the NCAA record 4 touchdown returns last year. Can't do anything with this 47-yarder. Let's send it down below to Rob Stone.
Seeking discipline and stability, Chris Ricks moved off campus this week, where 2 of his new roommates are a 3-year-old and a 2-month baby. I can't make this stuff up, can I? He moved in with former Florida State basketball player Pastor Ron Miller. Ricks, he has a curfew, restricted phone hours, and per NCAA rules, he does pay rent, buys food, and even has to change some diapers. I'd like to see the NCAA go after him on that one.
Greg, any similarity to your living conditions at SMU?
No, but a few of my teammates maybe. My room was pretty dirty.
Brian, boy, he can operate that option, although this pitch almost ends up in Seminole hands. Finally recovered by Maldonado. I mean, he wanted to do that. He wanted to move in and get that type of influence from his pastor, who's also a former strength and conditioning coach here and a former Florida State basketball player.
Yeah, just make sure that he's there and he's accountable and knows what's going on, and you know that he's always there.
Turnover is a big part of the story last year in this matchup. Last 2 games, in fact, 10 turnovers, leading to 21 points in each game. Maryland helping out the Florida State cause. Over the middle, and that was almost intercepted by Ward. Check in with Matt Weiner.
All right, Dave, let's check in with number 1. Oklahoma, the first number 1 to ever come in to visit Tuscaloosa. Trey DeCarlo from 40 yards out, and the lefty gets it now 6-0 Sooners in the first.
Well, they've had number 1s come in, but usually to Birmingham. Until just recently was where most of the big games for Alabama were played. It was bigger than the on-campus stadium. It's been expanded to the point now that that's where they can bring in the big non-conference opponents like Oklahoma. Here's 3rd and 10 for the Terps. And McBride again having to do it on his own. Left-hander scrambling right, buying time. Now looks up, throws complete. Perry will finish off a remarkable play. A marker is down, but if this thing stands, that's 20 yards.
When you're a lineman and you play with a scrambling quarterback, there is a rule that's set in stone. This will be lineman downfield. My buddy
78.
Craig has already seen that, yeah. And Maryland has made enough mistakes already to cost them the football game. Ralph Friedgen knows it.
2 fouls. Ineligible receiver downfield by the offense. Personal foul, roughing the passer by the defense. The penalty's offset.
You know, both of these teams, when you're playing in a high-profile game like this, can't afford to make dumb mistakes. And right here at the end of this play, blow to the head.
Chauncey Davis. Clothesline. So the Terps again looking at needing 10 on 3rd down. Inside the final minute of the first quarter. They spread them with 4 wides, gun it over the middle. That's complete, but it will not be enough for the first down. JoJo Walker is about a yard shy.
Trying to keep Florida State from getting any kind of rhythm going. McBrien's really working at the line of scrimmage. He's really barking out, trying to change the cadence.
Just trying to make things happen. Of course, the defensive linemen are too well trained. Coach Higgins teaches them to look at the football and not at the quarterback's hands.
Better not be listening to that snap count, right?
You
Don't
not
listen.
Be listening.
Now, you know, for Florida State, you know, we've been talking about Chris Ricks, this and that. When they get the football back here in a minute, Mr. Greg Jones, number 6, needs to show up and get the ball in his hands.
You know what? He's been running tentatively. He hasn't really smoked it up in there.
They had lathered him up.
He's been trying to bounce it outside, and that's not his strong suit.
Give him the ball.
Maryland could have punted with the wind at their back. Instead, they let time run out at the end of the first quarter. It is Terps 10, number 10, Florida State 7.
Monday Night Countdown delivered by UPS, 7:30 Eastern on ESPN.
Leon, you sign a record contract in the offseason. You come in with great numbers, Hall of Fame caliber numbers. But since then, disappointment. Your numbers are down. Who's to blame?
Well, Chuck, in this situation, I first have to look at myself.
The great ones do.
Right. So since you and I both know that can't be it, I gotta blame the fans and the media. And after that, it's the lineman's fault, it's the coach's fault, the owner's fault, the turf, referees, announcers. May even be your fault, Chuck.
They set up in the eye on this, the last play of the game. And here's the snap. Hand off to the tailback. Peterson tries the right side. Wow, what a hit. But he stays on his feet, and he's broken to the outside, and it's wide open. Touchdown. Give him a touchdown.
Got a dry, scratchy throat? Now there's Hall's Fruit Breezers with a mouth-watering fruit tingle that gives your throat a cooling lift anytime. Hall's Fruit Breezers. Treat your throat.
One big-time dirt and odor gone? New Neutrogena Men Power Scrub Bar has it wrapped up. The washcloth and deodorant bar in one. Special texture scrubs deep down. Devours odor. Want to feel a new kind of clean? Neutrogena Men Power Scrub Deodorant Bar has it wrapped up.
He's after a man.
He's got a face like a weasel.
Who's after a fortune.
It's worth millions.
Now everyone's after them on September 26th.
Get here, Bob.
Don't worry, they're little people. You can take them as little.
Ow! That's my heart.
The chase is on.
You got the moves. I'll give you that.
The Rundown. Rated PG-13. At theaters Friday, September 26th.
Ow!
If you're feeling sad and lonely.
Hello, Info. Can you find me another flight home?
Call me.
Hello, Info. I'm looking for Hollywood, the restaurant.
Hello, Info. Is my 2 o'clock at 2 or 2:30?
Hello, Info. I'm lost and I need directions.
Wherever, whenever you find yourself in need, don't just make a call. Make an InPhone call. Sign up is free at infone.com.
Thank you so much.
Second quarter now. Doak Campbell Stadium sold out in Tallahassee. 10-7 Maryland over Florida State. Dave Barnett, Bill Curry, Craig James. Craig, what would your concern be? You're up 3, but would you have something that you need to get turned around if you're Maryland to start this quarter?
Absolutely. McBrien's starting to telegraph what's going on. It looks like the secondary at Florida State starting to jump on them. And I think there are a few things that Maryland needs to be mindful of here. They need to change their tendencies. They need to get out there and substitute, make sure they stay fresh, and then they've got to create doubt as to what's going on with their offense.
Podlish will open the second quarter with a kick. And not much yardage on this one. Chris Davis will set up Ricks and the Seminole offense with decent field position after just a 36-yard effort.
And you know, the changing the tendencies are important. Novak at the end of the game is going to be a guy, if Maryland hangs around, that will be critical. And I think they've got to set this game up to give Novak a chance to win the game for them. Substitutes, if they don't do that in the third, fourth quarter, Florida State will hammer them because Florida State has 2 deep across the board.
Big Novak, the kicker, has now made with the shot earlier tonight, 38 of his last 43 field goals. Just about automatic. Ricks keeps for 2. Let's check in with Matt Weiner.
All right, USC taking on BYU tonight. Norm Chow running the USC offense after doing so for so long for BYU. Matt Leinart rolls out, finds Mike Williams. Nice guy to have on the other end. Trojans up 7-0.
USC after that shutout win at Auburn. Trying to start 2-0. A little surprised they weren't rated higher than they were this week in polls after the most impressive opening week win anybody in the country had. Based on the opposition, based on where they played, everybody paid attention. Ricks on 2nd and 9, throwing complete, but Chris Davis probably a foot short of the first down marker. Let's check our ESPN2 game track through the first quarter. First play from scrimmage, Dequell Jackson, who grew up dreaming of playing in the Garnet and Gold. Instead, bangs his way for 58 yards. Ricks came back to hit Profonso Thorpe after a no-back field goal had made it 10-0. So that's where we are. Terps by 3, looking at a 3rd and 1. Florida State. Ricks again keeping, and that is not, I don't think, going to be enough. That's the 2nd time that he's come up high and gotten knocked backward.
I'll tell you the truth, the way he runs the quarterback sneak, he looks like he's scared. I know he's not scared, but he's just waffling in there, standing up straight, kind of holding his head down until Jamal Cochran, number 49, relieved him of his misery and knocked the stuffings out of him. And I don't think he made it.
Well, I'll tell you what, I think they gave him a friendly spot,
well,
and he did make it.
If he did, it's an upset.
Very friendly spot.
I would call that a miracle spot, actually.
I just don't understand why.
He stood up, he leaned forward, he got knocked back. Now, how in the world did he make a first down?
By that much.
Come on, guys. Let's take a look at it. Let's just see how far he gets into the line like nowhere. Okay, maybe he fell a little bit toward the line, and then he dropped the ball. I mean, gracious, come on, Chris, get your pads down, son. Be a back.
Back. Give it to your back. Jones, there's a bruiser behind you. I know he's not making the calls.
Ricks last year in this game, career best 5 touchdown passes. On the ground, back to Greg Jones. And Jones up to the 46-yard line.
I got to pass along what Jones's kicker, Xavier Beitia, had to say about him at practice. Jones comes by us. I'm standing with the kicker at practice Thursday, and he says, Greg is the most humble human being I've ever known. He's a wonderful man. He plays very hard. He keeps it all in perspective. And we found him to be that way when we visited with him.
He's one of these guys that just doesn't want to take a compliment. Hard not to. Looking at a game like he had last week. James Coleman, the fullback, will set up a 3rd and 1. When you talk about what Jones did to North Carolina, and again, that stiff arm highlight, you're going to see a million times. As long as Greg Jones is on this planet, you're going to keep seeing that. And he's one of these guys that you can't get to accept praise. He's all about everybody else but himself.
Yeah, and last week, watch how right before the strike occurs, he's the striker. Oh, it's unbelievable.
I would tackle him low.
Dexter Reed would have thrown 5 yards if he hadn't had a guy bounce off of. Jones bounces this one wide. Not only strong, but swift. Greg Jones diving to the end zone, 44 yards. Is there anything at all missing from that package? 6'1", 255 with breakaway speed.
Great job by the fullback, 36, James Coleman. He looked up to Dequell Jackson, who's been making plays, got enough of a piece of him so that the big man bounced it outside and took it all the way.
And the Seminoles have their first lead. Badia, the extra point, it is 14-10. And on that run, Greg Jones is the 9th Seminole to crack the 2,000 career yard mark.
Meet Ray Lewis, playmaker. He's the greatest show on turf and ringleader of a 3-sack circus.
Send in the clown. Better yet, send in the punter.
They You can improvise and demoralize like Ray.
What you say?
Prove it with Playmaker Control. Only in Madden NFL 2004.
The official game of Playmakers.
Rated E for everyone. EA Sports. It's in the game.
Some gasolines will leave dirt on my intake valves. That's why I like a gas that helps keep my my engine clean and running well, like Chevron with Techron. Because otherwise the outside doesn't matter much, does it?
Chevron with Techron.
And now the choice is clear, to buy it now or start my bidding. The thing is there, it could be here. Can't live without it. Who am I kidding? Bags, clothes, lamps, this PDA. I click buy it now and it's on its way. Through auctions or without delay. You can do it eBay.
Let's say this is you. Yeah, you're the king. But being the king isn't always easy. So, when you're with Allstate, you'll have over 50,000 professionals to help protect you. From claims adjusters who can help you fix a broken castle, to emergency assistants to ride to your rescue, to lawyers that go to court with you if you need them, and your Allstate agent who knows the moves to help you. Helping you, the king, feel protected. Just one more way, you're in good hands with Allstate.
Fight ravaging rain, scorching sun, and wind with new Thompson's Water Seal Advanced. Its special technology penetrates deep, forming a barrier to seal out 99% of the water right from the start. New Thompson's Water Seal Advanced, the most powerful water protection guaranteed.
Greg Jones, the only senior starter on the offense for Florida State. Captain, making his cousin, Smoking Joe Frazier, very proud on this 44-yard foot race.
Greg told us that's his favorite play, the 44 sprint draw. Remember? That's what that was right there. Little vision. And Cox underestimated his speed because he's a big back, and you just don't expect a guy like that.
He doesn't look like he's moving as fast as he is.
Radius kick will be returned by Suter. Look out! Davia guiding him out of bounds. And the kicker prevents a touchdown here. 35 yards. Suter, who had 4 touchdown returns a year ago, for a moment looked like he might have a 5th on this one.
And Suter's not at full speed. You can tell it here. He's a 4.35 guy, pound for pound, the strongest man on the team with a 580 squat, and he doesn't have that Suter burst. He's been out with a hamstring. Look at him. He knows it. He said, I let the kicker tackle me. Good, damn it.
First time now, Maryland has to come from behind. O'Brien deep off the play fake, going for Harrison, and incomplete. One-on-one coverage by Bryant McFadden. Let's check in another update from Matt Weiner.
All right, Dennis Franchione at home with Texas A&M taking on Utah tonight. College Station. Terrence Murphy around right end and untouched. 80 yards down the right sideline. He's going to go, and the Aggies have taken a 14-0 lead on Utah. South Florida, Miami up 7-3 on Florida. Thanks to that kick return, nothing else doing since.
And this Franchione looking to open 2-0 in College Station. McBrien on second down. Swings it out for Perry. See how much he has despite the high ankle sprain. Only about 4 yards here. Have to think, guys, that psychologically for Maryland to see Bruce Perry run out there as the starter at tailback has got to mean something.
It meant something not only to Florida State but to Maryland as well. And we saw what Suter's done now on a punt return, kick return. They've got to get Perry involved in the offense.
They had neither Perry nor Suter in the upset loss last week at Northern Illinois. I think they use their absence as an excuse, but they're arguably their best weapons. Swing the other way and incomplete. It was close to a backwards pass, but it was forward enough to be incomplete. Intended again for Perry, and Florida State protects the 4-point lead by turning in a quick 3-and-out. And Perry with, is that a slight limp?
Yep. It's more than a slight limp. He had a real problem getting up. We've said repeatedly that Maryland's already made enough mistakes to lose this game. If we look at our fridge factor that Craig talked about right after this punt, we'll show you where they are in that calculation.
We come after Podlish. He gets off a beauty this time, and it's returned by Davis. Normally you don't want to back up inside your 5. He did. And in this case, it works out okay for him. A 50-yard kick. Davis brings it back 21 with the marker.
One of the real pleasant surprises for Frigian and his staff last week was the performance of Podlish, who had 8 punts for a 45.4-yard average with a long of 63. He has got a big-time leg. Flag on the field.
Replacing their all-time leading punter, Brooks Barnard.
Yeah, that could be a little intimidating. Looks like he's just going to take up where Brooks left off.
During the kick, holding by the receiving team. Post scrimmage kick enforcement. Penalty will be assessed from the end of the kick.
But you had Davis backing up inside his 10, so if you're a coach, you don't want him returning that at all.
No, he caught the ball at the 2-yard line, and it's a mistake, and he's young. What happens is you put his heels on the 10-yard line, and they say if you kick it over the head, let it go. He didn't do that. Penalties, drop passes, sacks, and turnovers. That total, divided by the number of plays total, the Fridge formula now is at 38%. And remember, to win, it must be 12% or less. Usually, he said, we have won a few when we were over 12%. We have never lost when we were under 12%. 6% is an outstanding football game. So they're not playing winning football by the Fridge formula as we speak.
Offensively, those are offensive numbers that we're talking about there. And
Right.
you know, you saw the 4 penalties. The 4 penalties are critical. The 2 drop passes.
Here is a real opportunity as Florida State's backed up to its 1-yard line. Outgained them by 91 yards, only a 4-point lead to show for it. Now can the Terp defense keep them bottled up here, maybe force another turnover? Rich to throw out of the back of his own end zone. Into double coverage for Thorpe. He just stops in the middle of the pattern and catches the underthrow while drawing the flag.
Yep, as he pushed off.
Madu Williams, Dominique Foxworth, double coverage. Should be offensive interference to wipe out a 42-yard gain. But a terrific adjustment even before that push-off by Thorpe. He read the ball, and the 2 defenders had no idea it was that far underthrown. Well, half the distance here, they're going to snap it from about an inch out of their own end zone.
Defonzo's been working with those NFL receivers, and this is just a little, let's see, a little shove in the back there. Yep, I just give you a little push because the momentum for Foxworth is already down the field.
Yeah, but you notice how smart they are to get back there. Foxworth, smart as a fox. He's back deep. He's expecting that big play right after that. And, you know, you talk about being back there to cover it up. Big play there for Maryland.
Well, it was a confident call. Well, they didn't even need the push off to make the catch. Now well inside their 1. They run Booker wide. And the speed of Lorenzo Booker evident right there. He picks up 13 yards. This is a young man who announced his decision to enroll at Florida State on national television, and yet he came and decided to redshirt last year, to everyone's surprise.
You see the speed there. You just can't coach that. And as an unselfish player, as fast as he is, nobody on that defense over there has a chance as long as there's no penetration. If they're going to stop him, they have to penetrate.
Florida State now over 100 rushing yards. Looking for more balance this year, perhaps, than in the last couple of years. Here comes P.K. Sam. In a foot race with Foxworth, finally chased down at the 20. 67 yards. On a drive that started as close as you can possibly get to your own goal line, the Seminoles break out with another big play.
And number 10, Madu Williams, he overran the slant. That was his responsibility. Very sharp, decisive throw there by Ricks. No footwork problems there, no mechanical problems. Set and throw the ball.
Even if they don't score, they have already made quite a statement on this drive. Here comes Booker back through the middle. Picks his way for about 3 or 4 yards.
Well, your offensive goal coming off your 1-yard line for, if you're just a regular football team, you hope to make a first down so that you don't have to punt the ball out of the back of the end zone. Florida State throws caution to the wind. You're always going to get a fly pattern out of their end zone when they're back there.
Just hang it up there, so can you stop this? Maryland couldn't. Now Ricks with the call at the line. 6 still on the play clock. And Booker, a nice cutback. It'll be 3rd and 2. Let's go back down below to Rob.
Well, you guys talked about Booker telling the staff, hey, I want a red shirt. More signs of maturity by this young man. In a span of a couple months this offseason, he lost 4 friends due to shootings, a suicide, and a drug overdose. And then just Monday, one of his roommates tragically died due to an auto accident. This is a kid who is mentally tough, has a worldly perspective, and has a great football future in front of him.
And at the moment, unfortunately, appears to have a twisted foot or ankle. So as they check on him, they get Jones back in for the 3rd and 2. Tight end set. Jones will slam his way down to the 8-yard line, and it's 1st and goal.
And that's the first time I've seen Greg Jones tonight lower his shoulder and drive for the first down.
This is a play before here. Booker on the hard, strong cut back to the middle of the field. Gets hit from the inside. That was a violent cut, wasn't it?
It really was.
How
and that's
strong was that?
When you run that fast, and actually was cutting off the wrong foot. He had the left foot planted trying to go to his left. And it could have been a little tweak.
I like that. An old offensive lineman telling somebody how to cut out there. There you go. No, a young guy. Yeah, I know that.
Ricks, off play action. Incomplete. Trying to go to Thorpe. And that was, I don't believe, anywhere near the pattern that Ricks expected. 10th year on the staff, 3rd year as offensive coordinator, Bobby Bowden's son, Jeff.
Pretty intense in our meetings, wasn't he? He walked in there ready to play the game.
Well, we learned one thing. Don't interrupt his racquetball.
Boy.
Let him finish.
Yeah, he kept his teeth gritted for the whole interview.
No, I wouldn't want anybody.
But he sat there with us for 20, 30 minutes. I mean, he wasn't in a hurry to get up and go.
2nd and goal. And the Terps this time jam up the line of scrimmage.
Now that's surprising. That Greg Jones, again, you can tell he's not really 100% coming off that severe knee injury because he didn't really pound it in there that time. He pounds it in one play and not the next. When he's full speed ahead, he just moves the whole pile.
Yeah, he tried to stop and react and come back to that.
That's not his style.
No, he's a slasher, breaking arms.
They'll go 4 wides this time. Chauncey Stovall's checked in. Dominic Robinson has checked in.
Look at his triceps.
That's Joe Frazier's cousin there. You can tell the resemblance in the arm. Gotcha. Ricks having to step up. There's room. Down to the 1, though. The Terps close as soon as they see him make up his mind to try and get all 8 yards on his own. And it'll be 4th and goal from the 1. And what do you do, Bobby Bowden?
He lost his earpiece. Look at this. Look, see his head right there? He lost his earpiece. He got hit so hard, his earpiece went flying.
26, Raymond Custis, free safety. Put a shot on him. Looks like they may go for it here.
Well, he got smoked here. This here will keep you from chewing bubble gum tomorrow in class.
They need to hand it to Greg Jones and take this in the end zone. That's what they need to do. And further discourage the Maryland football team with a touchdown here.
They're going to call timeout and talk it over. This is a 98-yard drive so far. So will Bobby Bowden make the decision to go ahead for the 99th? We'll find out when we come back.
This inning brought to you by Wendy's. Here's the pitch, and it's right down the juicy part of the plate.
Juicy.
Boy, that one had a lot of mustard on it.
I like mustard.
And he lines it, Bob. This could be a double.
Double?
No, I think he's going for a triple.
Triple?
They have him in a pickle.
That's it, kids. We're going to Wendy's.
Yeah!
Wendy's has a better way to satisfy those late-night cravings. We make every classic single and double fresh right when you order it.
And here's the throw.
Oh, caught stealing. Wendy's, it's better here.
Are you competitive? Take that competitive fire to ESPN.com ASAP, and you could win a VIP trip to throw down in the first ever Sore Winner Challenge presented by Tylenol. This is huge, real huge. The Sore Winner Challenge presented by Tylenol.
A few of us had actually never built a set before, so there was a learning curve involved.
When working in television, lighting is important. Now, the best sets are your basic Western frame with open sight lines.
Yes. So the audience can see us, and we can see the camera.
Exactly.
Can I use a jackhammer? There were times when it looked like everybody might not be on the same page.
Sap, you better leave town, baby. You better leave town, baby.
Rated everyone.
ESPN2's College Football Saturday, brought to you by Wendy's Classic Hamburgers. It's better here.
All right, watch the ear pad fly straight up in the air as Ricks is battered around the 1-yard line. They had to check on him, make sure that he's still lucid after taking a blow to the head like that. And the decision is we will go for it on 4th and goal from the 1. With Jones still the tailback. He gets the carry and the touchdown. It would have been a shock if they had done anything else. Having gone 98 yards, that's a statement. You make another statement if you decide you can't get that last yard and you have to kick.
Yeah, Maryland's offense has been in the tank anyway, so they weren't worried about that. If they not, it didn't make it. Watch the twist by number 6, Jones. He's a strong player, and when he twists back to the middle of the field, that got him away from the defenders.
Well, you want to try and stop that guy, 255 pounds with those guns.
And they had him in the backfield. They had him in the backfield. Jamal Cochran.
Nice snap. Joey Kalakini gets it down for Badia, and it's 21-10 Seminoles.
You know, Greg has a problem with those arms when he gets up in the morning. Sometimes he puts them down his pants leg because he gets them confused with his legs. They are bigger than my legs.
Yeah, I just like the fact that the penetration was there by Maryland, but Greg Jones uses his strength to keep them from getting square. Can't get square on them.
And Jeff Bowden's reaction, he flexes his big old biceps.
Yeah, he didn't got the biceps. I'd hide those things around Jones.
13.5 at least.
Don't take your shirt off around a guy that looks like Popeye.
You know, he doesn't even like to lift weights.
Just going to say, have either of you guys ever been around a guy who looks like that and doesn't live in the weight room?
But he does lift now. They did make a clear point of that. Greg did say, hey, I do lift. I just don't like to lift.
He said, I lift when they make me go in there. But I said, you must have lifted. You just loved it growing up. He said, I hated it. And I went in there when the coaches made me. I said, you mean God gave you a body like that? He said, pretty much.
Yeah, he did say that.
It's one of those blessings.
And yet, he is, I believe, the strongest guy on the team, or one of the strongest guys on the team.
He is.
Imagine what happened if he lifted.
They're holding fingers up for Chris. How many fingers? You always say 2 because that's the most likely. Then they'll let you go back in.
They won't be running many more quarterback sneaks tonight.
No. Chris needs to work on his QB sneak technique.
Well, Terps could stand for Steve Suter to break a big one here, as Florida State has taken control of this game. Suter from the 8. Those are ready for him. The Titans bringing back nearly the same talent, except this time around they have a healthy Eddie George and Steve McNair. The Raiders are fueled by falling one step short of the World Championship last year. Both teams are loaded with offense and driven to win. This should be a great matchup. Raiders versus Titans Sunday night. 8:30 Eastern on ESPN, available nationwide on ESPN HD. It'll all start with NFL Primetime, presented by Miller Lite at 7:30 Eastern tomorrow. Latrez Harrison is under center. He has been running some option. And you'll look for that here as the wideout, sure enough, gives to the first man through, and it is Maldonado. And some Ralph Friedgen playbook magic, going for 22 yards. Let's check in with Matt.
Dave, number 5, USC at home against BYU tonight, or this afternoon out on the West Coast. Matt Leinart threads the needle to Kerry Colbert, keeps his balance, and he'll take it all the way to the end zone. SC up 7-0. They return an interception shortly after that. It's now 21-zip.
Here's a bubble screen. Derek Fenner with the catch. And up near midfield as Maryland out decides to dip pretty deep into the bag of tricks.
Oh, man, they're in that inverted wishbone look, and they're running wishbone football. The first play was a read of the fullback. Latrez Harrison executes it beautifully. There's McBrien, his numbers.
He is not done for the night. One would think this is just a Harrison in there for the change of pace, and it's worked pretty well in the first 2 snaps. Again, the give to the first man, and stacked up Maldonado at the line of scrimmage.
Now, he's actually reading this, meaning he's looking at the defensive lineman. If the defensive lineman widens, he hands it to the fullback. If he closes it, he's supposed to pull it out. He made a misread on the last one. The first one he did perfectly.
Yeah, and you know, Harrison's a former quarterback, and so he's supposed to know what's going on back there. But when you come into a game and you're reading option against Florida State, things happen a little bit quicker than they do in practice.
Well, he popped that fullback the first time.
Now McBrien back in on 3rd and 2. Two tight end set. McBrien running the option, keeping first down and 5 extra.
When we say assignment football and you force a fast twitch football team like Florida State to play assignment, that means somebody's got to squat and take the fullback, somebody's got to take the quarterback, somebody's got to take the pitch back. And here's what we're talking about. As he comes down the line of scrimmage, everybody on this defense has an assignment. 1, 2. Number 2 is getting blocked right here. That's Kendall Pope, and that's why the quarterback pops it.
Small defense back on its heels. This is the Friedgen factor that they talked about with great respect, almost bordering on fear yesterday. Not ever sure what's going to come out of that brain of Ralph Friedgen. Bruce Perry carrying off tackle. And so you have this matchup now. One of the most respected defensive coordinators in the country, Mickey Andrews, matching wits with one of the great offensive minds, Friedgen, and his experienced coordinator, Charlie Taff, on the offensive side.
Well, that's the first time I've seen Perry make the cut in the run that I was looking for in this game. He's got to run past people.
His best gain yet, 7 yards to set up 2nd and 3. Again, and Perry with some tough running down to the 30, and the Terp march continues inside 3 minutes to go in the first half.
And the big guys up front are just blocking them. Kyle Smith, the center, number 72. Eric Dumas, the right tackle, 75 from Atlanta, just knocking folks back off the ball. Ralph Friedgen football. He's always going to be hard-nosed.
National Coach of the Year 2 years ago, his first year back at his alma mater. ACC Championship, breaking up the string that the Noles have put together since they entered the league in '92. Perry again, much better blocking than the first series, but the ball comes loose, and Florida State recovers. Now, however, they may be rethinking. One official had signaled Seminoles ball.
That'd sure mess up that fridge formula, wouldn't it?
Wow.
Yep, Florida State ball.
Craig, being a back and not really getting a hit in practice, this is what happens, isn't it?
It makes a difference. And then the fact that you come out in a game and you're trying to give it a little bit more, and it's just one of those plays where you're not aware of everybody that's around you. Bunkley, 52, comes in and puts his hand through there. Kendall Pope, number 9, he's in the hole waiting on him. And a series where it looked like Maryland had something going, and Pope is there to plug the lane.
And Kendall was telling us, you know, Michael always gets to make the big plays. Why is it always Boulware? He picks them up and runs for touchdowns. Occasionally I get to recover one, but I'm just at the bottom of the pile. Well, there you are again, Kendall, but your team really was glad to see it.
He's also saying it's big for us this year to get our swagger back. And when you're Florida State, you go 9-5, you don't swagger.
Yeah, he's talking about Derek Brooks and Charlie Ward and Derek Alexander and all the guys who've been through here and won a national championship and have been great. And that's been the missing ingredient the last couple of years. We asked him, do you think you've been complacent? He was pretty honest about that.
He was. He also sits for recreation and watches Derek Brooks tapes. He has to furnish the blanks, but he gets Derek Brooks' performances here at Florida State and watches them like 6, 8. He says he's got them stacked everywhere so that he inspires himself, and that's why he's the leading tackler on this team. One reason.
4th largest crowd in the history of Doak Campbell Stadium, 82,885. More than they've even drawn from Miami here. Only better crowds have been for Florida and Notre Dame. Let's check in down below. Rob, what do you know about some of the limp-offs we've had in this first half?
Yeah, well, you guys are talking about Chris Ricks being tended to. Not the first time it's happened today. After that earlier Greg Jones touchdown run, he came to the bench complaining of pain in the base of the back of his neck, so they're continuing to keep an eye on that. Lorenzo Booker, they spatted his left ankle. You guys know what a spatting is, right? That's the tape job over the shoe. He was running around cutting on the sideline. He looks good, but there was some concern around center David Castillo. Came limping off the field in obvious pain. They retaped his right ankle, and he's out there and ready to go right now.
Oh, you can't get hurt if you're a lineman. You're not allowed. It's the delicate guys to get taped up, and the trainers. Castillo will be back out. There he goes. Yadaway. Limp on out there, pal. You got to do it.
If you walk, you can play up.
That's right. You can't be hurt.
Best drive of the night ends in a turnover for Maryland. Plenty of time for Florida State to add to their 11-point lead. And they start with the power running. Greg Jones off right tackle. Brought down by DeQuell Jackson.
Jackson showed up tonight, didn't he?
He showed up ready to play, and of course he did that last week in his first performance as a starter, replacing the great E.J. Henderson.
Knowles without a huddle now. And 2nd and 6. They have 2 timeouts left, 1 to 2 minutes. There was movement. So Ricks gets the quick snap, takes a knee. Tosin Abari, the nose tackle. And while they sort that out, let's see what Matt has coming up for us at the half.
All right, Dave, coming up at the half, we'll check in on the #1 team in the country. The Sooners scuffling so far in a predictably low-scoring game at Alabama. We'll get you the latest on that. A day full of upsets. 4 top 25 teams went down. The Irish were lucky. They're not one of those teams. We'll have all that coming up at the half.
Usually an upset day like today happens much later in the season. You really get into conference play. But it started from first couple of results and started to roll in today. Banging his way near midfield is the fullback Coleman, who earned a start over B.J. Dean with a good opener and a good week of work. A former walk-on, one of a number of hometown products from here in Tallahassee, and now he's going to limp off. NC State, Virginia, Auburn, Purdue, Penn State all shocked earlier this afternoon.
How about Wake Forest?
Wake Forest is tough. Wake Forest has been beating people. I mean, they beat the daylights out of a very good Oregon team in a bowl game last year.
The best game might have been the near upset of Ohio State. San Diego State really probably should have won that game.
Yes, they did. They throw the interception in the end zone off the deflected pass that Ohio State returned 100 yards.
The best game was the Georgia Tech game. And you guys know that.
You reminded us.
Clock rolls at 1:15 on first down. Ricks. He had Thorpe on the pattern. He had no time to get it to him because of Leroy Ambush. Boy, I was hoping we got to call his name, the strong side linebacker. Leroy Ambush with the pressure on Ricks.
And a good player, too.
You talk about the top 10 right now, though. It's in my opinion, you can put a poll together of 10 teams to watch or a group watch list, because right now we're trying to figure out who's really capable of being 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Florida State certainly is a top 6 team, in my opinion, though, on the watch list.
A group watch list.
Yeah, you can't. We don't have a clue right now. Everybody thought Auburn was going to win the national championship. They're 0-2. Everybody except for Trev Alberts.
Trev Alberts didn't think they were going to win the national. Group watch, is that a show and tell item?
That's a waffle deal. That's where you're just able to say, I don't really know what you got. I want to see it on Saturday before I start giving you the honor of being 1, 2, or 3.
We have 82,885. Number 4 crowd in the history of this building watching Florida State leading Maryland 21-10. The Terps slammed them early on a 58-yard interception returned by middle linebacker DeQuell Jackson on the very first Florida State play from scrimmage. Later got a Nick Novak field goal, but the Noles have responded with 3 touchdowns and a chance with the 2 timeouts they had to work with to add to that lead, and they're letting the clock roll down. They finally stop it with 21 seconds. But they let a huge chunk of time expire. So we'll come back and see if they do have one more deep shot at them before halftime.
It's time for football. The Raiders. It's all about revenge and respect. And the Tough Titans O is ready to roll. The AFC Championship game, take 2. Raiders-Titans, Sunday night at 8:30 on ESPN.
A strong man, a hunter, a soldier, a weekend warrior, fighting nature. I don't cry at all. And fighting each other. I vote to expel Chuck. The Wild Rules. 1-hour series premiere, Monday at 9 on ESPN. Presented by Citgo.
While we were out seeing how people use Dell PCs, we figured a few things out. Number 1, Darren can't navigate. 2, you should always watch where you park. And 3, when it comes to stuff like digital photography, Dell should bundle the things people use to get the most out of their PC. Back at Dell, our idea was huge. They made up all sorts of bundles that you can check out on our website. They even included some sweet advice on digital photography. And while Darren is still navigationally challenged, thanks to Dell, when it comes to getting the right PC and PC gear, at least you won't have to worry about getting lost.
Add a bundle to any new Dell system and get up to a $75 rebate. To learn more, visit us at Dell.com/roadtrip. And right now, a Dimension desktop with an Intel Pentium 4 processor is just $499 after an additional mail-in rebate. Plus, for a limited time, get free shipping. Check out our notebooks, too. Your perfect PC and more. Easy as Dell. Dell PCs use Intel Pentium 4 processors.
Florida State wasted quite a bit of time before calling their next to last time out. 21 seconds before halftime. Every Sunday morning, join Chris Berman, Tom Jackson, Steve Young, Chris Mortensen, and NFL Countdown presented by Old Spice at 11 a.m. Eastern. Reports from all the games around the country, up to the minute news, stats, everything you need to know. Sunday NFL Countdown. Now 3rd and 14, Florida State. Trying to add any points here. A little bit surprising. They had plenty of time and 2 timeouts to work with, but Jones carries. And a moment ago, James Coleman, the fullback, the former walk-on from Florida High School here in Tallahassee, had to be carted off a moment after he had limped off. Now a timeout called by the Terps with 8 seconds to go before halftime.
When the Navy sought a power source for a new generation of ship, we had the right energy. When the nation called for better hurricane forecasting, conditions here were perfect. And when a life-saving cancer drug was in short supply, we had the right chemistry. How fast do ideas move? At the speed of imagination. Florida State University. Ideas that move.
ACC power. We mean football power. A record 7 bowl teams last year. 3 Heisman hopefuls. 4 teams in the preseason top 25. 280,000 season tickets sold. Atlantic Coast Conference football. The power is under the hood.
This possession began for Florida State with 2 minutes and 26 seconds on the clock and 2 timeouts, and they have not tried to score Maryland calls time to make sure that they have to punt it to Suter, who scored 4 times last year, tying the national record. And they do so here as Jesse Stein's kick will roll inside the 5-yard line, out of bounds. Can't do it much better than that. 49 yards into the Coffin corner.
Stein, another pleasant surprise in his first starting assignment last week. Did a nice job. Didn't have to punt much. 46.7-yard average, and looks like he knows what he's doing here.
Do you know what Florida State was doing with that clock management the last 2.5 minutes?
No.
I think some of the knowledge went flying up in the air with that earpiece, Chris Ricks.
Well, 1 snap coming for the Terps, and then they will need to regroup. They had control of this game early. They had the type play you absolutely have to come up with to beat a team like Florida State on the road, with the interception returned by Jackson. But as the half wore on, the Noles wore down Ralph Friedgen's Maryland Terrapins, and they lead 21-10 here in Tallahassee. Let's send it back to Matt Weiner in the studio.
All right, Dave, thank you very much, and welcome into our ESPN2 college football studios in Bristol. Matt Weiner with you throughout the half. Maryland's average loss to Florida State over the years, 35 points, so the Terps faring a little better than that tonight, but still trailing by 11 at the half. Take you around the country, elsewhere in Florida, the Gators 14-point underdogs in South Florida to the Miami Hurricanes, 14 points. A lot of discussion about the talent gap between these two programs in Ron Zook's second year. Opening kickoff, Devin Hester, 97 yards all over the field. Picking his spots, he gets in first kickoff return for a touchdown by a Hurricane since 1996, believe it or not. Brock Berlin turned it over. Kewan Ratliff will scoop and score, and Florida leading right now 16-10. That game over on ABC. Coming up, we'll take you down to Tuscaloosa. Bama Sooners defensive struggle coming up.
ESPN the magazine on newsstands now.
2 grilled stuffed burritos.
Bring it on.
It's big, it's beefy, it's the grilled stuffed burrito from Taco Bell. Seasoned beef, 3 melted cheeses, sealed inside a grilled tortilla. The affordable heavy-duty portables, just $1.99. For the heaviest meal on wheels, think outside the bun. Spice up the night. Open till midnight or later.
WSAP, check it. Boom! I'm here, straight out of your nightmares.
Excuse me?
Excuse you nothing. I'll excuse you as soon as we play a little football. You understand me, sweet tooth?
You don't play football.
Every day I do. ESPN NFL football with the first-person football feature. Wow! Because I don't play. You know something? Oh, there you go. The little birdie's talking to me. He's saying Sap can't mess with you. Sap too slow.
Rated E for everyone.
ACC power. We mean football power. A record 7 bowl teams last year. 3 Heisman hopefuls. 4 teams in the preseason top 25. 280,000 season tickets sold. Atlantic Coast Conference football. The power is under the hood.
College rivalries never die. That's why there's the ESPN Game Plan College Football Pay-Per-View Package. It's all the teams you want to see and all the ones you want to see beaten. ESPN Game Plan, available on Dish Network Season Ticket. To order, call 1-800-333-DISH.
Every Saturday night, new hit movies premiere only on Stars. Premiering this month.
You're gonna be great. I got a feeling about you.
Hello.
Hi.
Money is what life is all about.
getting it, losing it, needing it.
Premiering Saturday nights this month only on Stars. One of 8 great channels in the Stars Super Pack on Dish Network.
And welcome back. Mike Shula is still getting his feet wet in Tuscaloosa as the Alabama head coach says he hasn't had a normal week yet. Remember, he had just 115 days from the day he was hired to prepare for the season opener against South Florida. And nothing routine about this week either with #1 Oklahoma in town. The two programs have combined for 14 national titles. Triandis Luke hit by Oklahoma's Mark Bradley. Everybody coming with ill intentions. Jason White passes to Mark Clayton, 13-3. Oklahoma up at the half. NC State, Wake Forest, T.A. McClendon on the sidelines in street clothes with a bad knee. Apparently hurt the knee in the player lounge. Bad luck. It was a bad start for a bad day for the Wolfpack. Corey Randolph hands to Nate Morton, gets it back on the pass, takes it down.
Well, Florida State down early, but they recover nicely, and they have a 21-10 lead. As we get set for the start of the third quarter, Dave Barnett, Bill Curry, Craig James in that first half. All Maryland early, but Florida State finally regained some traction, and they're in control now.
They got traction because most people think of a fridge factor as a trip to the ice cream locker. Ralph Friedgen calls it a formula. It's a sophisticated analytical tool in which he adds up the mistakes his team makes. Things like penalties, drop passes, sacks, and turnovers divided by the total number of plays. If it's 12% or less, they're doing well. Right now, 31%. Craig, that's why they're behind.
And I'll tell you another stat he keeps up with. Your offense. If you're coming out 3 plays and you're getting on the sidelines again, that's not good. 4 out of 7 series for Maryland's offense, they've gone to the sidelines. For Florida State to kind of wrap this thing up, here's what they need to do. Continue to get to the football with their speed and create opportunities. They got to get that swagger going. They got to get up and give some high fives and things out there. And then Jones and Booker. A good dose of Greg Jones would help anybody close a game out.
Well, they've had 12 carries out of Jones for 77 yards, 2 touchdowns. One was a 44-yarder where he showed his breakaway speed. The other a 1-yarder where he showed his 255 pounds worth of muscle.
And Chris Ricks has been in there doing the smelling salts and hopefully has his head clear. Really, I mean, he took some incredible shots. One knocked his earpiece out of his headgear, and that's alarming. You don't want anybody out there when they're at risk because of the possibility of not being all with us. And he looks much better. His eyes look much better right now, as you saw them a moment ago, than they did at the end of the first half.
We'll see what his eyes look like if they call another quarterback sneak. You think he'd audible out of that?
I think the odds on another quarterback sneak are slim and none.
Rafonso Thorpe, who has a touchdown catch tonight for Florida State, ready to return this kick along with Antonio Cromartie. Scott McBrien just 4 for 13, 50 yards and an interception for Maryland. They have been almost shut out in the passing game. Novak makes this one a touchback, and the ESPN2 game track through the first 30 minutes. Well, you have to start with Dequel Jackson from Largo, Florida, banging his way over a 58-yard interception return on Florida State's first play, but they did come back. Rich to Thorpe for 1 touchdown. 2 touchdowns from Jones. This one the 44-yarder. Novak had a 44-yard field goal for the Terps. That's the scoring, 21-10, and they have it to begin the second half at their 20. And Jones, the tailback, tough to arm tackle him. He carries Scott Smith, the defensive end, for about 5 yards after contact. Remember, Lorenzo Booker limped off in the second quarter, so we may see more of Jones than we normally would have, depending on Booker's status.
That's Denard Wilson, number 13, who's down, and we'll get a report, I suppose, from Rob.
You reckon? Rob's on his toes down there. We will.
Hey, only so many injuries I can keep track of, guys, at a time. We'll start with FSU fullback James Coleman. Not back yet out of the locker room. right now FSU down to just one fullback. Talked to Bobby Bowden, said, hey, we're making mistakes this week that we didn't make last week. He was preaching consistency. On the flip side, Ralph Friedgen telling me the main thing, our defense is losing containment. We got to do better on that. And I said, Coach, you know, the staff at FSU has a lot of respect for you. You got some trick plays in that back pocket. He smiled, nodded, said, I sure do, but they don't do any good if we can't block.
Good answer.
I would imagine.
Very good answer.
I would have to expect, as Wilson will head off under his own power, I would imagine whatever Ralph Friedgen has in that playbook, we would expect to see. Here comes Coleman back just now leaving the locker room.
Remember the last series that Maryland had that was productive when Perry fumbled? They came out, they ran the option a little bit, and they were moving the football. Perry was running the ball.
That was when Harrison, the wide receiver, was running option quarterback. Yeah, that was their best drive until Bruce Perry fumbled. See some more where that came from. Here's an end around PK Sam. Boy, you just cannot find a group of wide receivers year in, year out any faster than the ones the Seminoles put out there. And PK Sam will move the chains.
And what a nice job, number 64, the left guard, Menrod. Watch him get outside. Look at him pulling, getting around the corner. Beautiful job of blocking and giving the corner. And you don't have to do a whole lot when you have somebody with Sam, the speed that he has, just kind of hold him up a little bit.
The second leading returning receiver. They don't have much experience. That's about all they don't have. Menrod, young offensive lineman. One senior offensive starter. That's Red Jones. Fullback gets the carry here. B.J. Dean, the only other fullback other than Coleman, who you just saw the last man out of the locker room. Dean, who started last week, a converted linebacker.
And we're seeing a little more of the fullbacks, and that's part of Terry Bowden's game plan. Quick hitters, get after these big linemen like Starks and Feldheim, make them move, make them fight the battle, get them tired for the fourth quarter.
Hit the bubbles hard is what he's saying. Exactly. He likes to do in that defense, those linebacker levels.
B.J. Dean for three. Now Greg Jones taking one tackle, taking another one. He'll be close for the first down.
I'm giving Terry Bowden way too much credit. He's still in New York, sitting at a desk with John Saunders. His little brother, Jeff Bowden, is the offensive coordinator, not Terry. He can't do all that.
Well, that was a pretty good call there by whatever Bowden it was. Yeah, run that 44 sprint draw to give it to number 6.
I'll tell you, they all look up to Daddy. Daddy Bowden is the man.
I'll tell you, the Bowden who's happy and having a good evening right now would be Tommy Bowden, who had a victory today.
Yep. Tommy's a tough guy. He'll figure it out.
Here's 3rd and 1. Full back again. Don't believe so. Very surprising they don't go to Greg Jones. Instead, it's B.J. Dean. He appears good. Well, I tell you, on that yellow line, they put it right on the first down marker. That's a friendly spot.
Well, I can respond to that, too. They're not always going to give it to Greg Jones at tailback because Bobby Bowden loves that fullback role play on short yardage. We brought Bobby into Alabama when I was coaching there to give us a goal line clinic one day. We said, show us your goal line offense, Bobby. And I swear he walked up and he had Bennett, one of those monster fullbacks on his team at the time, and he drew that play and then he sat down. I said, well, what's the rest of it? He said, that is it. That's our goal line offense. We hand it to the fullback until we score.
You know why it works is because when that fullback rolls out of there, everybody's got on defense has to fly to get to the corner, afraid that if they don't get out there, those tailbacks will outrun them around the side.
That's part of the magic, and the other part is if you have Edgar Bennett as a fullback.
Yeah.
These guys are doing a pretty good job, too. Dean and Coleman.
This flag is for unsportsmanlike conduct on the Maryland bench after the play. Boy, they did not need that. Extra 15 yards tacked on for absolutely no reason. You're down 11. You do not need to be helping the number 10 team in the country on their home field.
Fridge factor just took a significant leap again.
I think the Fridge factor factored himself in.
Really?
Yeah, I think it may have been a Fridge getting one of the marks.
43 of Maryland. They fake. And incomplete. Intended for Chauncey Stovall, a junior college transfer out of Vero Beach.
You start to see the magic of Florida State's depth here. You hear a new name virtually every series. Well, there's Chauncey Stovall. We've seen Stefanzo Thorpe. We've seen Chris Davis, although not as much of Chris Davis as I would have thought. They have a whole offensive package with him. We've seen P.K. Sam. Hadn't seen Willie Reed yet, but they've got so many fast, talented guys.
Big part of why they are almost impossible to beat here. Every time you look up, there's a fresh Seminole on the field. Ricks running out of room, throwing it away.
But you know what? Of all those receivers you mentioned, we asked the Maryland secondary to point out one that was the best, and they didn't give us a name of any one individual. So at this point, nobody at Florida State has stepped up and said, "I'm going to be the man. I'm the next Peter Warrick. I'm the guy."
Well, they've got a candidate, Chris Davis. They took me in there. The assistant athletic director for sports information took me in to watch actually it was the video guy that took me in to watch a highlight film from Chris Davis in high school and said, this guy is going to be Peter Warrick before he leaves here.
The video man, huh?
The video man.
Out with the video man.
Yep. Davis, the redshirt freshman from St. Pete. Ricks trying to roll and buy time for Davis, and a wobbler never had a chance, although Davis had some room after he broke off his pattern inside the 20. Sean Merriman giving chase.
Yeah, you know what? This is not good for Florida State. You know, you have to be a little disappointed in them because they had a chance to put them on the ropes and hit them, knock them down some. But watch Greg Jones, number 6. Smoke.
Wow.
You know.
And that's DeQuell, too.
Yeah, and he
that's
barely
Jackson.
hit him. He didn't get all 255 on him.
Well, he's just got so many gifts.
That is Denard Wilson. Prize senior strong safety out of Upper Marlboro, Maryland, getting looked at with 12:07 to go in the third quarter.
Now, one man must stand between the living and the dead.
I order you back to hell!
Heath Ledger.
It's you and me.
Bless my heart. Hope to die.
The Order. Rated R. Now playing only in theaters.
Meet Ricky Williams, playmaker. He's a freight train to End Zone City. A backfield bulldozer. He doesn't hit holes. He makes them. Think you can shake and bake on the fly like Ricky? Prove it with Playmaker Control. Only in Madden NFL 2004.
The official game? Playmakers.
Rated E for everyone. EA Sports. It's in the game.
Look, I can't give both you guys my number.
Great, then I'll just grab a pen. We'd appreciate that, Jeff.
So you guys are close?
Oh, yeah, we're like brothers. I'd do anything for that guy. Just phone. Hey, Sharon. No, your fiance just stepped away. He's thinking about you right now. I'll tell him. Later.
Smirnoff Ice Premium Malt Beverage. Intelligent nightlife.
The all-new Nissan Quest is here. Get ready for Girls' Night Out.
With the never-ending pasta bowl, whatever you choose, it's like getting a strike every time you bowl.
It's never-ending pasta bowling.
Too far.
Olive Garden's never-ending pasta bowl, just $7.95. Pick one combination of sauce and pasta, then another. Have all you want.
Denard Wilson was cramping. As a matter of fact, we can actually see the cramp. Look at that right. Look at that right calf.
I'm telling you, that hurts. That's a pain like no other. He's going to be okay, but it sure doesn't feel good.
If that does it to him at about 2 in the morning, he'll come out of that bed running a 4-1.
Wow. They come back.
Jesse Stein's last punt rolled out of bounds inside the 5-yard line. This one he hangs up very nicely inside the 20. And another nice Seminole roll out of bounds at the 15. check in with Rob Stone.
Guys, Darnell Dockett spent 29 days this summer working 10-hour shifts, picking up roadside trash with the Leon County Sheriff's Department work detail. That as a result of a shoplifting incident last season, which led to his Sugar Bowl suspension. He's a changed man. Some of the credit has to go to the guy we're going to talk to in a moment.
Dockett, their all-time leader now in tackles behind the line of scrimmage. Playing against his home state team, former Maryland High School Player of the Year from Burtonsville. The only Seminole player from the state of Maryland, in fact. He grew up just about 10 miles away from campus. But came down here to Tallahassee. His 38th start. He's been a 4-year starter on that defensive front. Rob Abiamiri went in motion. And Bruce Perry bottled up pretty much all night. Back down to Rob.
Joined by TK Wetherell, a former Florida State football player here under Bobby Bowden, and the current president. You and Dockett come from different backgrounds, but how did you help him turn this negative into a positive?
Well, he had a tough time this summer, got himself into a little problem, I guess, last fall. We sat down and talked about it, and he came to realize that he wanted to leave Florida State on a high note. We worked out a little program of reaction, shall we call it, and he's doing fine right now.
We'll continue this after this play.
Bruce Perry, 7 carries and only 20 yards tonight. After missing last week with a high ankle sprain, he started tonight. Not yet a factor. McBrien's pass into the Seminole bench. Back down to Rob.
You and Dockett really bonded. What were some of the things you told him to try and straighten this situation out?
Well, I just told him he had one more year. That's 2 things for him. One, a football career really rode on what he did, and it was important that he got his act together. The second thing is he had a year to prove to everybody at Florida State, the NFL, and himself that he was a better man than some people were suggesting, and I think he accepted the challenge.
TK, thanks for your time. We appreciate it.
Hopefully it took permanently with Darnell. With help from the president. Here's 3rd and 8. O'Brien with a flag down, complete to the fullback Maurice Smith. A former linebacker from Waldorf, Maryland. His first touch of the season. Michael Boulware making the play for the Seminoles. We wait for the indication.
If you think Coach Bowden doesn't have it going around here, one of his former players is president now, and that's a pretty good deal.
Well, the Terps have a nice play again, wiped out because of penalty.
Yeah, number 45, Dockett, talking about him. I guess his ears were burning. Figured he'd give us something to show out there.
9 penalties in the loss of Northern Illinois, and well on the way to at least that many tonight.
You know, a lot of those penalties, when they happen, it's happening because you're going against superior speed. Speed makes problems for you, you know, and you start fumbling the football, you start trying to jump quicker.
Well, all adds up to another 3 and out, turned in by the Florida State defense. They're coming off their first shutout in 35 games since the Louisville game of the 2000 season, the first on the road since the opening game of 1993. Happened to be a national championship year. They hope that's a harbinger. Davis tries to reverse field and it never had a chance after he muffed it, and a flag is down after a 44-yard punt. Turned into a rather penalty-marred game.
Yep, and Chris has got to learn that dribble technique. It's very difficult. I asked Craig, I asked you about
illegal
it before
block
the game.
in the back by the receiving team during the run back. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul.
Pat Watkins, number 21, pushing in the back. The receiving team. Chris Davis on the reception was looking up to see who was covering before he caught the football. He's a freshman. They've got a whole offensive packaged just for him, and if he'll just handle the football and show some poise, we'll probably get a chance to see more of him. But he dropped that one. He was lucky to come up with it.
Do you notice a little flatness right now of both teams? Not just one, but both football teams. And if Maryland wants to have anything happen their way, they have to come aggressive. They have to change what they've been doing.
They got to get after it.
This game doesn't have any pace, and the penalties are, I think, the biggest factor. Both teams get something cranking. Here comes the flag. Alfonso Thor driven straight back by Dominique Foxworth. Downstate, what's happening? Let's check in with Matt Weiner.
All right, Dave, and we will go downstate. Florida and Miami in South Florida. Matt Leach lining up for a 31-yard field goal. He gets it to go, and the Gators have a 9-point lead at half. How about number 1 in the country? The Sooners now up 10 in Tuscaloosa. It's 13-3 there.
Mike Shula, first Alabama team to beat a ranked opponent. They pulled this off since a Missouri team. You beat your first ranked opponent, Joe Paterno's Penn State.
Yep. With hats off to Bobby Humphrey, who had a great night that night.
Well, Chris Ricks had the ear pad go flying up in the air, trying to get in the goal line, and I think that got his attention, and his arm went kind of numb because he's about 1 for 4 since that blow-up shot down there.
But he's got his eyes back focused here in the second half. He's looking alert. They wouldn't let him go out there at risk like that.
No,
he's okay now. Yep.
For the game, just 7 of 16, 122 yards. 1 touchdown, 1 interception, return for a touchdown. And here's a strike. One of his better throws of the night is to P.K. Sam for 12 yards.
Maryland absolutely has to do what they're doing. They're taking a risk when you blitz Chris Ricks, a guy like that. He's elusive. He can get away from you. Leon Joe, number 32, missed the tackle there. Ricks stepped right up and made a nice throw, threw a strike, got the completion.
Look at the stutter step, the little side step right here. Gave him a chance to throw the ball. Absolutely, he's awake and alert.
Maryland's going to have to keep taking some risks like that to make some plays.
From the same high school as Carson Palmer, last year's Heisman Trophy winner, son of Margarita Catholic High School in California. And Sean Merriman, sophomore from Upper Marlboro, Maryland, has the sack. Terrific Sunday night football matchup to get the season started. It's a rematch of the AFC Championship from a year ago. Raiders-Titans. 8:30 Eastern, ESPN. Nationwide on ESPN HD. It starts with NFL Primetime, presented by Miller Lite. That's at 7:30 Eastern. Eddie George, Steve McNair, the Titans, Rich Gannon, and the Raiders. With the Merriman sack, here comes 2nd and 22 for the Noles. Rich wanted to set up a screen. Now ad-libbing and has to throw it away. All eyes on Ricks after his bumpy sophomore season. One thing to remember, though, it's the first freshman quarterback to be pushed into action as early as he was under Bobby Bowden. He's had some great moments. He has had some embarrassing moments, and none more so than when he overslept and missed a test late last season. That caused him to be benched in the bowl. But as Rob mentioned, I think his new living conditions, living with his friend the minister, reason to expect his junior and senior years to be ones in which he fulfills what they consider still to be terrific potential. And Bobby Bowden remains a devout Chris Ricks fan, says he's been badly misrepresented. He is a natural-born leader. People who say he has no leadership qualities, Bobby Bowden could not disagree more. In fact, says one of his problems as a redshirt freshman starting quarterback was he's out there trying to tell upperclassmen what to do. I mean, your quarterback is usually supposed to do that, but they're not used to hearing that from a freshman.
That's right. He's had to deal with some personal issues that nobody knows about that have been extremely difficult for him.
Jesse Stein, very high punt. Makes room for Suter on the return. The Terps will start from their 40.
Did you see the guts and the courage of Suter? I mean, that ball's up there, and the gunner's coming down. Wow.
I bet you thought you knew everything there is to know about Florida State. Well, I bet you didn't. More on the circus when we come back.
The Home Depot is more than a store. It's the only place to find all the great brands. Everything from GE to Thomasville. Names you know that will give your home the look you've always dreamed of. To beautify any bath or kitchen, consider the sophistication of Moen faucets. Their large assortment of designs can add style and quality to your home. Only one place has these distinctive styles from Moen, as well as helpful advice and guaranteed everyday low prices. The Home Depot. You can do it. We can help.
Got a dry, scratchy throat? Now there's Hall's Fruit Breezers with a mouth-watering fruit tingle that gives your throat a cooling lift anytime. Hall's Fruit Breezers. Treat your throat.
The all-new 265 horsepower Nissan Maxima.
See this? It's the Gilbert positioning system.
That's global positioning system?
So how come it knows exactly where I am?
Get a clue, Gilbert. Watch the show.
Tactical to Practical premieres Tuesday night at 9/8 Central on the History Channel.
Stuart Scott and the gang recap the NFL weekend and get you ready for Monday Night Football on Monday Night Countdown, delivered by UPS, 7:30 Eastern on ESPN.
ESPN2's College Football Saturday, brought to you by Nissan and your Nissan dealer.
Really a nice night, North Florida. That hot, very clear. You can see the moon. You can see the fourth largest crowd in the history of Doak Campbell Stadium. Nearly 83,000 on hand.
You sure that's the moon? That wasn't Mars?
You can also see Mars. You can see Mars. It doesn't look anything like the moon, though.
There you go. Maryland's going to have to change it up. In my opinion, they need to start throwing the ball. They need to play a short control passing game.
This package worked until the Perry fumble in the second quarter. Latrez Harrison from wide receiver to option quarterback now. And here's the pitch. And not much room at all for JoJo Walker. Let's go down to Rob.
Bobby Bowden, known to have a little P.T. Barnum in him. So does his university. The FSU Flying High Knolls Circus, one of only 2 collegiate circuses that perform on campus. And students can earn 1 hour of phys ed credit by performing in the greatest collegiate show on earth. No animals, but you got your jugglers, your trapeze artist, gymnast, and a great football anecdote after this play.
Only a gain of 1 on that option pitch. Same thing, Perry, and a pickup of about 7 or 8 more. So here comes 3rd and short. Back down to Rob.
Initially, the only way the FSU football team could get an opponent was if the circus agreed to perform at half. And Coach Curry, you remember actually having dinner with the old circus, don't you?
My dad was a gymnastics coach at Georgia Military Academy in the early 50s, and they used to come perform for us. They were wonderful, even then.
3rd and 1. Perry. That should be enough for the first.
That's just good Ralph Friedgen football there. Stefan Heyer, C.J. Brooks, tackle and guard, knocking people back, doing a good job on Womble and Eric Moore. Kyle Smith, the center, was also involved.
You know what's happening here now? Friedgen has got them set up, and they're expecting that formation to bring an option, right? And the free safety has to come up in that lane for
That's
support.
right.
So watch
play
and
action
pass.
Play action pass is a perfect call right here.
McBrien back at quarterback and calls time.
And burning timeouts, which is another thing that probably ought to go on the fridge factor.
That's right.
When you give those away in the second half, it's deadly.
Still no offensive touchdowns for Maryland. And they still trail by 11.
Let's get married tonight.
Abso-freaking-lutely not.
Homos, Fruit Loops, a sissy lumberjack.
Irish Catholic baboon Republican nightmare.
I blame Clinton. Why does this house smell like oranges?
As soon as I can get my shoes unstuck from this floor, we're leaving.
I can't get that orange smell out of my nose.
It's All Relative, coming out ABC Wednesday, October 1st.
Okay, thank you. Found the perfect house? I think so. Where are you getting your loan?
Our friend knows this mortgage broker.
How do you know it's the best loan for you and not the mortgage broker? We don't. Well, at eLoan, you get a personal loan consultant who's not driven by commissions on the type of loan you choose, so you get the right loan at a great rate.
That is a great rate.
Nothing should come between you and the right loan. That's why there's eLoan. Apply now at eLoan.com or call 1-800-ELOAN22.
I heard about Vonage on the radio. When I ordered it, I got a Vonage adapter, a router, and I just connected it to my cable modem. When you're averaging $150 to $300 a month on phone bills, you can see why a plan for $40 is appealing. We're gonna save at least $2,000 this year. I'm Dexter Green.
I'm Christine Green, and we're Vonage customers.
Call 1-VONAGE-HELP now. Get unlimited calling to all 50 states plus Canada for only $39.99 per month. Vonage, the broadband phone company. DSL or cable modem required.
Well, we're not down to where Maryland is running out of time. There's still plenty of that. 5:15 to go in the third quarter. They need to show something here. They've got decent field position. They're a score away from making this a real tight game again. But it's just been one sputter after another.
It has. It has been, and it's so unlike a Ralph Friedgen team. And I know he's got to be terrible. He's over there yelling at everybody, and I don't blame him. And so are the assistants, by the way.
5 penalties, 46 yards. Couple of turnovers. In position to turn things back their way now. Least gets some momentum. From midfield, the first down is in Suter in motion. And throw complete. And even the best plays are only getting them 3, 4, 5 yards. That's Rob Abiamiri, a junior tight end from Randallstown. Gets his first catch.
Well, that's what happens. You see a nice play and you say it's going to be a good game, Craig, and then they just close on him. Boom.
The speed,
and it's a 3-yard
speed
game.
sucks them up, but you know what? It's still 4 or 5 yards positive for them.
Yeah.
And I think what they need to do is pick the tempo up. You see them getting out of the huddle.
Yeah.
That's what Friedgen needs to be on with. Get your butt out of the huddle. Let's go play ball.
Sound like a play. Numbers not very impressive from McBrien tonight. The #2 rated passer in the ACC last year. Well, in the country. Inside give. Perry. Every single inch he gets has been hard fought tonight. This is going to set up a 3rd and 3.
That's right. I just want to keep pointing this out. You see him step across the line of scrimmage. There's Fridge doing exactly what you suggested, Craig. Come on, men, move it in and out of the huddle. And they are just lethargic. Now, there's somebody down again.
This is also
when he crosses the line of scrimmage, you see about 6 gold helmets tattooing. Bam, bam, bam. And it's a short game.
This is also 2-down territory, in my opinion. You can't take a chance on giving it back to Florida State here without any points right now. You've got to go score because Chris Ricks will get it in the end zone.
Bruce Perry face down after that hit. Question all week was the high ankle sprain. See if he now has something else that'll bother him after this hit. He's picking his way, and there's just no room anywhere.
Yeah.
And he gets spun down, and maybe that leg gets pinned underneath him by Dockett.
Well, a full speed Chris Perry would have hit that thing right off the left hip of his lead blocker, who had a pretty good block on the linebacker. But as he hesitated, suddenly that closing speed of the Garnett and Gold got to him. And that's the secret of Mickey Andrews' Florida State defense. And he's got the number of people now. He can play a bunch of folks so nobody's tired as we approach the 4th quarter.
I'm of the mindset that a healthy Josh Allen, a full speed running back against Florida State's better than a 3-quarter Perry.
I agree.
He is not carried yet. Perry started, barely 3 yards per carry. Maldonado, the bigger back, has had it a few times, but not Josh Allen yet. He is in now, and here's a 3rd and 4. McBrien hanging one up. Incomplete, intended for Harrison. One-on-one with Rufus Brown.
And if there were any interference, it wouldn't be called because the ball was uncatchable. Rufus Brown, a backup corner who plays a lot of football. And again, when you don't have to play every snap, when you can substitute freely, then everybody enjoys it and everybody's fresh. That guy right there is highly motivated. I haven't seen Bobby Bowden any more motivated in his career, and I've known him for 27 years.
Yeah, he told us yesterday he's 70 dadgum 3.
Not just 73, but 70 dadgum 3.
November 8th going to be 70 dadgum 4. You never know it. Podlesh's punt is a touchback. Boy, that was close to perfect. Jerome Cox almost able to down that one inside the wide. Bobby Bowden, the ageless one, rejuvenated after closing ranks around his program during the offseason.
For the price of this bottle, how many glasses of pure filtered water can you get? This should give you some idea. Pure, just as good as bottled, at a price that's 10 times less. Pure water filters. Your water should be pure. The Pure Water Filter. So easy to install and use, anyone can do it. Pure Water Filters. Your water should be pure.
Inside every can of Minwax is the secret to enhancing wood's natural beauty. Minwax rich wood stains and long-lasting protective finishes make it easy to turn any house into a beautiful home. Minwax makes and keeps wood beautiful.
I'm not a mechanic, but I've seen motors apart. I saw the carbon crud buildup on the valves. I never knew that was from a lot of gasoline. So, I guess Techron's a good thing.
Chevron with Techron.
With new Odor Eaters Plus. Odor Eaters Plus is the only insole with podiatric arch support plus protection on demand against odor and wetness.
Jump for joy, new Odor Eaters Plus.
Closed captioning for selected programming presented by Selsun Blue.
Dandruff really shows on black, so I switched to Selsun Blue moisturizing shampoo. Doctor recommended with aloe and moisturizers for healthier hair and scalp. Never wear black without the blue. Selsun Blue.
Well, Bobby Bowden has traveled a road very few have been down. Paul Bear Bryant, who for years held the all-time record, Bobby Bowden has bested him and continues to chase Joe Paterno, 4 behind Paterno, who lost today. So Bowden, he hangs on to this win, can get within 3 of Jopa for the all-time lead.
You think those two aren't competing? They won't admit it. You can't get them to say it in front of each other. Those guys are competitors in the ultimate sense.
Out of the gun is Willie Reed getting his first carry. Sophomore from Kathleen, Georgia. Lorenzo Booker, by the way, is physically okay, but is just being held out. He limped off in the first half, but the word from Rob was he's able to come back. Bowden is choosing to go with Jones, and now with Willie Reed, who's also a backup wide receiver. Very versatile talent. That team, second down and 8. Ricks, complete. Court. And that's the first down, and that's the chance for us to hear from Matt Weiner.
Dave, the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame got off to a sloppy start, turned it over a lot in the first half, but got it done when it counted. Overtime today. Nick Setta hit the game winner, and the Irish are 1-0.
Lots of upsets, 2 near upsets at Ohio State and at Notre Dame. Ricks running out of room and flipping that one out of bounds. Bobby Bowden has talked about limiting the access of the press. He's always been the most open coach there is as far as the media, and it kind of went against his nature to do that, but he is limiting the access, especially to the locker room. What are some of the other things that you notice that are different about how Bowden's approached this year?
Well, I think the fact that he's really spending time with players, and I know Rob's going to make a report about the council that he meets with.
That's important. He's got a burst. He's fresh-legged. And he's out to the 43 after a gain of 12.
And to continue in that line of thought, I don't think there has been a moment when the Florida State football program wasn't demanding, but I think it was more demanding in this offseason and in this summer. I think the players showed up, and there's more leadership on this team. He's very pleased with his seniors. All those things seem different to me. And heck, they just run faster. They got more good players than they've had the last couple of years.
It's going deep, one-on-one. And incomplete, overthrown for Sam. Covered by Jamal Chance. Down to Rob.
Well, the guys touched on it. This Unity Council, a lot of programs have it, and it's a council that consists of selected players. And Coach admitted to us yesterday he really got away from it. And last year he felt that too many things cropped up, and had he known about it, he could have solved. So this Unity Council back in good standing, 13 players representing each class, and they've really only had to deal with one issue so far. We'll talk about that coming up.
Yeah, it was really a burning issue at that. One of the controversies of the day. Here's Reed motion out of the backfield. It's thrown the other way. And more fresh legs getting involved. Chauncey Stovall. Rob, what was the issue of the day?
Hold everything. Are you sitting down for this, right?
Yeah.
The great sock debate. You know, I mean, it's a good problem for FSU to have, right? Sock problems. Some like it high, some like it low. So Coach said, council, you guys decide how high the socks are. You tell to the guys, so you look at the socks. All of them showing about 2 inches now.
Well, things must be in pretty good shape if the biggest problem you have to discuss on your roster is socks.
Well, if you've ever raised teenagers in your home, then you know that socks and length of pants and
length of
proper
hair
and what constitutes casual, decent, and what doesn't, length of hair, all that becomes a big factor. And you are dealing with teenage males. I know that's hard for the fans to believe. This is 100+ teenage males, and you're responsible for them 24 hours a day. So Bobby said, dadgummit, y'all gonna tell me how high the socks are gonna be. They're gonna be 2 inches or 1 inch or dadgummit, whatever it's gonna be. So they decided 2 inches above the shoes. A lot of them wanted to play with no socks, naturally. If you were a teenage male, you might want to do that. You might want to do a lot of things. That's the problem.
First down. Yeah. Well, the serious point about that Unity Council has got to be, if you're a player, Craig, the fact that you know your voice will be heard. It's not a total autocracy that you're involved with.
Yeah, he'll go along with it right until it's something dumb asked for.
The out pass caught by Davis for 9 yards to Matt Weiner.
Dave, Alabama and Oklahoma, and for the record, they're both sporting low socks. This is Brody Coyle to Triandis Luke, 20-yard touchdown strike, finishes off an 80-yard drive. We got a 13-10 game in the third.
Well, you talk about jump-starting a program. What if Mike Shula is able to knock off #1 Oklahoma in his second game?
Be no surprise. No surprise to those of us that have been around that program. They can do anything and they want to.
It would surprise me if they beat Oklahoma.
Willie Reed,
I
first
know,
down.
but you're a subject to surprise frequently.
No,
Craig.
I'm not either. I follow Alabama pretty closely, and they have had a lot of distraction.
So you do, huh?
Yes.
Well, I need to talk to you, son, so you learn a little bit more about the program.
But you'd be about one of the only men that felt like Oklahoma was going to lose today.
Well, how about we just wait and see?
Got an ice cream on it with you.
All right, it's your own.
Bulls keep marching from the 36. Back to Willie Reed.
Now, Craig, you mentioned the drop-off in energy, and both squads were lethargic. The coaches, and especially Maryland's sideline, were just screaming at them. Dave Salazzo, most notably, the defensive line coach. And sure enough, here comes Jeff Bowden and Daryl Dickey with no huddle. And they've gone down the field, and it's not a frantic pace, but they are forcing Maryland to get lined up late almost every play, and they're moving the football again. It's added a little bite to the game.
Not quite Charlie Ward in the fast break, but it's having a pretty good. PK Sam, foot race, touchdown. Drive of the night was the 99-yard march in the first half. This one a close second, and Sam takes it the final 34 yards on the catch and run.
Folks, this is hard to do, a two-deep coverage, a little pump. That's a perfect throw. That's a beautiful football throw by Chris Ricks.
Yeah, it was a terrible job of coverage by Madu Williams. I mean, you see the angle he took on that?
Not a very good angle. Still a tough throw.
Yeah. Let it go.
Junior out of Buford, Georgia, with Betia's extra point, making it 28-10 Florida State.
And one of the things that Sam has to recognize, too, is the coverage, and he's got to come back with that football. And you saw what happened as soon as he makes his move to the outside. He works back up the field. Corner rolls with him, goes out almost out of bounds there, and comes back in, it looked like. But you see how he made his way back to the middle of the field?
He did. He made a nice cut on it. And you're right, Madu Williams, who's a very heady player as a rule, got completely out of position. He was all the way over to the sideline.
It looked like he went out of bounds over there.
Well, I think that he thought that P.K. Sam was going to continue and they were going to try to run a fade. And what happened is that Rick stepped up and drilled it. It was beautiful.
And brought him back. He drew him back into the middle.
That's right.
A nice job by Rick.
And that's what happens when you spend all summer throwing and catching with each other. You got that little communication. Veteran receiver, veteran QB, you get the touch.
Bruce
Nice
Perry a moment ago limped off. Rob, what have you found out about him?
Talk about a picture telling the story. There's Bruce Perry, ice on his right ankle. He obviously re-aggravated that right high ankle sprain. Coaching staff made a decision. We're not going to take a chance with him. He's done for the day.
Craig, I have to agree with you. A healthy Josh Allen's got to be better than a not-so-healthy Bruce Perry.
Well, this is going to force Maryland now to score well, force them into a hurry-up mode. They're going to have to get it to the line of scrimmage and start throwing the football.
Well, Perry was able to start tonight, but never really looked like himself in carrying 10 times for only 32 yards.
Now, this guy was a rocket 2 years ago. I mean, he was the soul of the team.
Suter from the 2. The nose came loaded for Steve Suter. By reputation, they knew what he was capable of, and they have kept him pretty well bottled up. Only a 14-yard return.
And he's not full speed either. He hadn't been playing, and he's got that hamstring.
Another injured Maryland player on the final play of the third quarter. 99-yard drive in the second, an 80-yard drive in the third. 28-10 Florida State.
Was cooking dinner and I just fell asleep. I tried to get out, but I collapsed. I couldn't call for help, but ADT did. They saved my life.
An ADT monitored fire detector not only sounds an alarm, it actually signals ADT so we can call for help. Call now and get a complete ADT system at a price you can afford. Call 1-800-ADT-ASAP today.
One big-time dirt and odor gone? New Neutrogena Men Power Scrub Bar has it wrapped up. The washcloth and deodorant bar in one. Special texture scrubs deep down. Devours odor. Want to feel a new kind of clean? Neutrogena Men Power Scrub Deodorant Bar has it wrapped up.
Let's say this is your car. Nice hardtop. If you drive safely, meaning you do stuff like obey the speed limit, always check your blind spot, and avoid accidents, hey, watch it, Leadfoot, then Allstate could reward you with something you'll eat right up. Some green. Up to 20% off your insurance bill. It's the Allstate Safe Driver Discount. Call today and find out how you're in good hands with Allstate. Hey, this is for the safe driver. Here you go.
Eyes get dry, scratchy, irritated. Visine Tears can soothe, moisturize, and protect like your own natural tears. And it's safe to use as often as you need. Visine Tears relieves dry eyes like your own natural tears.
Like that lunch?
Hey, hon, how are you? We're good. You know us, up at the crack of dawn, right on schedule, no fooling around. In fact, gotta go. Real busy here, and Dip says hi.
You kind of have to know.
I feel like I kind of do.
Picture mail that talks from Sprint. Now at Sprint stores, get great deals on a wide selection of PCS Vision picture phones starting at $99.99. Share it when it happens.
Great band. Got to work on that sign. Come on. It's the worst sign we have ever put on the air.
Well, that's technology for you.
Fourth quarter. Maryland starts from their 16, trailing 28-10. First carry of the night for Josh Allen, the sophomore from Bladensburg, Maryland. Then we hear from Matt Weiner.
Dave, how about this for a momentum shifter? We showed you Alabama's touchdown. Oklahoma fakes a punt to retain possession. Then it's Jason White up top to Brandon Jones, 47 yards. Got him. And Oklahoma has its 10-point lead back.
After all those knee problems, Jason White started this year very sharp. Last week against North Texas, a strike against Alabama. Here's 2nd and 9, Maryland. McBrien, play action. Maybe his best pass of the night. Jafar Williams unable to hang on.
And that's what plagued the receivers from Maryland a week ago. You've got to catch the football. A throw like that, a perfect throw down and away. The only guy that could catch it was Williams, and Jafar put it on the ground.
Last
now
week
they got 3rd and 9.
They had 2 balls that they dropped, and a couple they said they could have made that would have been big catches. But you know, you've got to make that play right there to keep any kind of hope going right now. It takes confidence away from McBrien and the whole team.
One reason he dropped it, though, is that fast closing defense by Florida State's defenders.
Seems like it's been this way all night. 3rd and 9, Maryland. And McBrien, running for his life, will come up well shy of the yellow line. Back to Matt Weiner.
Guys, Florida hasn't won a road game against a major conference opponent since 1986, but they're on their way right now at Miami. This is Deshaun Wynn, 65 yards for the touchdown. It's 26-10, and the Canes have just turned it over again.
Wow. Shocking result.
Yeah, but not surprising if it holds.
Shocking, but not surprising?
Yeah,
How's
I'll
that?
tell you why. Two reasons. Charlie Strong, new defensive coordinator at Florida, and the other one is Miami's offensive line has no continuity or consistency.
And they don't have a leader on their football team. You could see it last week.
50-yard punt by Podlish. All Florida State here early in the 4th.
So I got tickets to the game tomorrow night. I wasn't sure if you wanted to go.
Well, it doesn't sound like you want me to go.
What? Of course I want you to go. I just thought maybe, you know, with the crowd and all that.
You'd probably have a better time with Gary.
Gary? No.
Why don't you ask Gary? And we'll hook up on Saturday.
Okay, if you're sure.
I'm sure.
Okay, bye-bye. You're in.
Yes! I'm out! Let's go dancing.
Hello, ladies.
Hey.
Trying to eat smarter? Well, Wendy's has a better way.
That looks good.
It is. Rich and meaty chili, a fresh side salad with fat-free French, and a plain baked potato, each just 99 cents. Lunch?
Yeah, and it only has 8 grams of fat.
Super. Now do you tell them your lunch has only 5 grams of fat? Sure, speak up. Wendy's 99-cent super value menu. It's better here. And remember, you can eat great even late.
Who are the best playmakers?
No, John Lynch is one.
I like Roy Williams.
I'm going to say Michael Vick.
Maybe Ray Lewis.
Tony Gonzalez.
Who are the best playmakers?
Oh, you asking me? Deshaun Johnson. Love him.
Clinton Portis.
Thank you, Simmons. But who's the best playmaker? Me. Me.
Myself. Yours truly.
Number 34.
You're looking at him, baby.
Matt
NFL 2004. Now with exclusive Playmaker control. Rated E for everyone. EA Sports. It's in the game.
We started this thing, and now we're on top. Everybody's trying to knock us off. It's us versus them. We must protect this house. Will you protect this house? I will. Bring on them. We must protect this house.
On a night where the Florida State defense has just about erased the Maryland offense from the pictures. 28-10 Seminoles, and they take over through 26. Maryland has had only one drive that carried over 21 yards. They have only 148 total yards tonight. And the Noles go back to work with Chauncey Stovall's catch. At the 34, our ESPN2 game track. Bruce Perry gamely tried to go with the bad ankle tonight. Ineffective, about 3 yards per carry. Won't play in the fourth. Florida State has achieved its goal of balance, scoring twice through the air and twice on the ground. And on the ground, this is Willie Reed, who cuts back and has the first down.
They love Willie Reed here. He's so versatile. They move him to wide receiver. Just as he's catching on to wide receiver, they get an injury at tailback. He's willing to go back to tailback, and he plays that position well.
You notice what Jeff Bowden is doing. He's got him at the line of scrimmage again. He's keeping the heat and the pressure on him. The depth, the substitutions, the freshness, the Willie Reeds of the world are going to come into play.
All day for Ricks. Steps up, delivers another one on target. Alfonso Thorpe. And 18 more yards. Fastest man in the ACC. Thorpe, the 100 and 200-meter champs.
Yeah, working towards a little bit of balance in their offense right now. Last week they were a little closer. Need to find out what's going on tonight.
Well, you know, 99 might be something to think about. They won the national title that year. With much more on the run side than the pass side. This is Willie Reed running near the sideline, stays in bounds, keeps the clock going at the 40. It's got to be a very tired Maryland defense at this point, because their offense, again, has totaled 148 yards, 81 rushing, only 67 passing. That is nothing you ever expect from a Ralph Friedgen offense.
Nope. You think of 400 yards plus with Friedgen.
You heard that old saying, your dauber's in the dirt. I think the guys in the white shirts got the dauber down a little bit.
Yep, they got to pick it up and get going again.
Knowles have gone over the 400 total yard mark on this possession, and Reed spinning in the clear. Willie Reed with a marker down, showing what he can do in the open field. 17 yards before Madu Williams tackles him, and we'll wait for the indication.
Looks like PK Sam might have grabbed a little cloth out there. Yep, Seminoles are walking back. Don't want to get careless.
Yeah, I'll tell you what you don't want to have happen is a lot of white jerseys watching the football game, and there's not a lot of white jerseys in the pursuit right now. There's number 4 coming into the screen, blocked from behind.
That's a block from behind right there.
Yep.
DeQuell has had his way with a lot of the game tonight, but he's also gotten knocked around a little bit. Greg Jones drilled him, and then he got drilled right in the back of the head right there by Sam.
When you watched him practice, Bill, did you flash back to 99?
Yes, I absolutely did. Speed. When I was out there in 99, I thought I have never seen this much speed on a football field, including the NFL. I had not seen that the last couple of years. I saw it again Thursday, and we've seen it here tonight.
Kick to Ricks here, and Booker has just come back into the game. Fumble, and Florida State recovers. Nicely carried out fakes by Ricks and Booker there. Let's check in with Matt.
Dave, well, it took 7 quarters, but the USC defense has finally given up a touchdown. BYU's Matt Berry to Daniel Coates. 14 yards, gets in and cuts the lead to 21-12. That one in the 3rd quarter out west.
BYU still has the nation's longest streak since they were last shut out. People were wondering if USC might be able to do it to Auburn. Could they end that streak at BYU? No, turns out not. That is almost a backwards pass, but it is incomplete, intended for Reed.
What we saw in the previous play is what Jeff Bowden referred to the fun in practice. He puts in a little trickery and a direct snap, in that case to Booker. Chris Ricks acted as if the ball had been snapped over his head. Booker ran about 4 yards and dropped the ball on the ground. That was not part of the plan. Jeff was not pleased with that aspect. And now they're going to have to pump the football.
You know, you were talking about comparing them to the '99 team. I know going back to '93, the thing that I remember about those two national championship teams was the fact that you knew the names of some of the defensive linemen. I mean, they were household names, which made the linebackers really good.
Stein's kick. Sure looked like it touched somebody in the end zone.
Doesn't matter if it touches anybody. What matters is if it crosses that
There
plane.
it is. Finally the touchback sign.
It's a touchback if it crosses the plane at all. That's different in the NFL because it can cross and you can tap it back if you don't get in the end zone. Different rule in college.
Well, every Sunday morning you can join Chris Berman and company for NFL Countdown, presented by Old Spice at 11 a.m. Eastern. Reports from all the games up to the minute news and stats, plus a weekly feature from John Madden and everything you need to know right up until kickoff every Sunday morning. New quarterback now from Maryland, Orlando Evans, a senior from Stockton, California, who's been one of the pleasant surprises. He began his career at the University of Oregon, transferred to junior college, went undefeated at City College of San Francisco, had a 12-0 season there. Tore his ACL in his only appearance last year, threw all of one pass, kind of the forgotten man, and he came strong through camp and is a surprising #2 quarterback behind Scott McBrien. A little bit bigger, 6'1", 193. So Friedgen down 18, gets Evans a series here with 9.5 minutes to play. And separated from the ball, loose at the 10-yard line. Florida State recovers. A.J. Nicholson.
You know, we start talking about comparing them to the '99, '93 national championship teams.
They did this a lot back then.
Absolutely. No question about it. Their defense is smothering Maryland right now. It doesn't matter who's at quarterback. The defensive line is fresh. This unit was on the sidelines the last series. Now they're back in, and Chauncey Davis just ran right through them.
He never had a chance. Evans set up, turned to look, and he looked right into number 94, who had already beaten his offensive tackle, Eric Dumas, and was right in his face.
So not quite first and goal. They'll snap it from the 11. It's still the quarterback. And intended into the end zone for Thorpe. Here come the flags on Dominique Foxworth.
This is when the fatigue begins to set in, and the old feet don't move as well for Dominique Foxworth, number 6. Kerfonso Thorpe, who's been rested and is back on the field, having had a chance to get himself back together, beats him inside, and the only thing that Dominique can do is get him on the ground so he doesn't score, and hope now that they can keep him out of the end zone. That was a calculated pass interference and probably a wise one after having been beaten.
You know what? When you got no safety in the middle of the field to help you, you're going against the Florida State receiver in Thorpe, you're going to have to tackle him a bunch.
Zero coverage, meaning no free safety.
So they move it up to the 2, where it is now first and goal. They go with the power formation. Extra tight ends are in the game. Slamming off tackle is Reed, and driving finally in. Touchdown.
This is how Florida State just puts the wood to one opponent after another. They grind you into submission, and especially when they have the kind of talent that they have this year. Great leg drive by a very little fellow, Willie Reed, 190-pound tailback. Took Denard Wilson, number 13, and
that knee's down. He's down.
His knee
That's
was
not
down.
A touchdown.
If that ball broke the plane,
I don't think it did.
Oh, sure, but it didn't.
Well, look at the scoreboard. Let's talk about it.
Hey,
Scoreboard says 35, but it shouldn't.
it should not, but it does. Willie Reed gets away with one, but you know what? At this point in the game here, this is a woodshed whooping.
Well, they put it up there. So it's a touchdown, 35.
Oh, that's your draw.
Touchdown.
That's your drawing.
Achieving your goals. It's a lot easier with Lincoln on your team. For details, see your financial advisor or call 1-877-ASK-LINCOLN.
College rivalries never die. That's why there's the ESPN Game Plan College Football Pay-Per-View Package. To order, call your local cable company, DirecTV, or Dish Network.
Boy, I hope Roger found enough firewood. Yeah, I want to make s'mores. Hey, guys, I gathered the wood and made a fire. Oh, yeah, and I built a shelter.
Even as a kid, I believed in giving people a little more than they expected. I'm Roger Riney. I started Scottrade to take care of online investors like nobody else. With $7 trades, no inactivity fees, and personal attention at your local office. Click, call, or stop by Scottrade today.
Did you know there are hundreds of medical emergencies every day related to prescription errors? At HealthRamp, we've developed software that assists your doctor in screening your medical and drug history when the prescription is written, then sends it electronically to your pharmacy, substantially eliminating mistakes. If you're a medical professional, visit healthramp.com for a free download. If you're a patient, ask if your doctor is using HealthRamp. Together, we can save lives, one prescription at a time.
ESPN2's College Football Saturday, brought to you by Lincoln Financial Group. Clear solutions in a complex world.
Florida State's average margin of victory in their first 13 meetings against Maryland, 32 points per game. They have this one up to 25. Still got time left, better than 9 minutes.
We're talking about a team that was ACC champs 2 years ago and almost won it last year.
11-3 last year, 10-2 in Regent's first year, best first 2 years ever by an ACC coach.
Hammered Tennessee in the Peach Bowl, just had a marvelous game.
30-3 in that game, and then they come out and start this season by losing at Northern Illinois in overtime and getting blasted tonight. This is very typical of what's happened to the ACC opponents of Florida State since 1992.
Wake Forest could change their little story this year, couldn't they? Who do you want to draw on there?
Your eye is drawn down to the NC State line, and you remember what Chuck Amato said. Somebody asked him when he took that job and left the Florida State staff, how is anybody ever going to beat Florida State? And his answer was very simple. He said, you're going to beat them by dismantling their staff. I don't know if you'd call it a dismantling, but Amato leaving, Mark Richt leaving for Georgia. Last couple of years, those defections must have had some kind of an effect, wouldn't you think?
I think so. And he said, just remember when Chuck first came and when Mark first came, we weren't exactly winning national championship then. It took us years to gel as a staff, and we're gelling again with the new coaches we've added, people like Darrell Dickey and Kevin Steele.
9 losses since Rick left. But this looking more like it if you're a Florida State fan. And here comes a flag on Cromartie. The intended receiver was Dan Melendez. Well, they pick up the laundry. Let's check in with Matt.
All right, Dave, something of a dismantling happening in South Florida between the Gators and Miami. Brock Berlin threw his second interception of the game. Gators cash in with Rand Carthon there. It's now 33-10.
Wow.
Well, Ron Zook has his first signature win.
A huge win for Ron Zook, because going into this season, there were a lot of Florida Gator fans not fired up about Ron Zook.
No, and he has won the confidence of those players. They believe in him. He's got a marvelous coaching staff, good systems, and Miami's got some work to do. I was shocked when I saw him play last week.
You get to see him play next week at home against East Carolina.
He'll be there.
Incomplete. Orlando Evans intended for Dan Melendez as Terp backups get another series. And Leroy Smith gets up limping this time.
You just never see a Maryland wide receiver that's just wide open. There's always a Garnett shirt closing on him, and the reason is Mickey Andrews does a pursuit drill. You have to have perfect plays, meaning all 11 people fly to the football no matter what the play, and they make it such a habit, and they demand it so much that the players don't even think about it.
Maryland's lowest output last year, total offense, was 133 in their shutout opening loss to Notre Dame. They're at 139 total yards right here. And a juggling catch is made by JoJo Walker. In the Florida State game, that one was at Byrd Stadium. They totaled 298 yards, so not even halfway to that total tonight.
Back on that pursuit drill you're talking about, they end every practice with that pursuit drill. Now, they're not the only team in America that does that. Everybody works on it.
A lot of us did.
Yeah, absolutely. Everybody wants it. But Bowden insists and demands that it be 110% effort by everybody, or it doesn't count.
Every play.
Evans complete on 3rd and 4, and a first down catch by Derek Fenner.
I know what you saw. I know what you saw. Craig like that.
Oh, it's a decleater.
Craig gets to cover this one.
Oh, man, what a great job. And there was a block on the left side. I think a big old left tackle got him a little claw. Ryan Flynn smoked the Rover coming in. I enjoyed that.
That was Osai. Yeah, he got drilled.
Evans play fake. And at midfield, a diving attempt by Derek Miller. They're going to give him the catch. Good for 8 yards. All right, let's watch this again. Middle of your screen.
This one here is like, I'm going to give you something. Middle of the screen. Oh,
that is what Craig calls a decleater.
That's a slobber knocker. That is an absolute slobber knocker.
That's a blitz pickup. That's what centers used to get paid to do. That's what I did for a living for a long time.
I was a running back that did that.
Yeah, but I know I didn't do it quite as well as he did.
Maldonado, first down. When Claudius Osei came over here as an exchange student from Germany, do you think you ever envisioned that kind of treatment? Getting picked up and deposited about 5 yards away on a decleater. Welcome to America, Claudius. A rare first down for Maryland. They have not had too many of those to look at, especially in the Seminole end of the field. Option pitch, Maldonado. And let's check in with Matt Weiner.
All right, guys, number 13, LSU hasn't traveled as far west as Arizona since 1984, but they're in the desert tonight and prospering so far. Joseph Adai plunges over from 1 yard out. 10-0 game there. Reminder, Oklahoma over on ESPN leading Alabama in Tuscaloosa. It is 20-10 with 10 minutes and change left in the ball game.
And you see the note that Shawn Williams leaving that game with a wrist injury for Alabama.
Well, that's not good for Alabama because he's the juice of that offense.
Another Terp first down. And they keep it on the ground. Maldonado, a transfer from Ohio State, still learning the offense. He's from Friedgen's hometown, Harrison, New York, where he was the New York State Player of the Year. So good, in fact, he was recruited by Florida State. Don't forget the Sunday Night Football matchup tomorrow night. Raiders-Titans. All beginning with NFL Primetime, presented by Miller Lite at 7:30 Eastern. Two excellent candidates maybe to make it all the way to an AFC championship this year, and they go head-to-head get the season started tomorrow night. Evans, out-patted, incomplete, intended for Melendez.
You made the comment a while ago, Coach, about how Maryland's receivers always seem like somebody's on them. In my opinion, all the throws have been late. The timing's off from the quarterbacks. They don't realize you got just a hair of a second, split second, to throw the ball to one of their receivers.
I think that's right. And it goes back to the speed of the game we talked about early in the game. You're just not accustomed to seeing people that run like the Florida State team unless you've had a chance to play against them.
3rd and 8. Quarterback draw. Evans, never a prayer. Sam McGrew was on him like you couldn't believe. That's a play you figure you're going to catch somebody unaware. Not Sam McGrew, the backup at linebacker.
The legend of Sam McGrew. Wow. Look at him shoot that guy. They're coming after Evans. They're making him grow up in a hurry. Mickey Andrews is emptying out the playbook, and he's emptying up the bench, and he's letting everybody play, and the guys love it.
And you know what he said about it, too, now? They've got a lot of seniors and juniors on this team, which means he's got to get a lot of these young kids in the ball game to get experience for the future.
That's right.
4th and 13. Over the middle, and there's some early contact, and here comes the flag.
Yeah, good call.
Pretty obvious this one was going to come back. Ray Picune with the Florida State pick.
Pat Watkins with the interference, number 22. Pat just got there a little early, and they were giving the young quarterback all the looks.
You see how long you wait on that pass?
Yep.
It was late, wasn't it? And that just, the timing, the tempo, you got to be smoother and quicker.
Pass interference on the defense, 15-yard penalty, first down.
Terps keep the ball. Back to Matt Weiner. So the Terps 1st and 10. This snap just inside the 25-yard line of Florida State. Just trying to get this thing respectable. 14th meeting. Florida State has won the previous 13. Option pitch. Josh Allen driven back to get Pat Watkins' response to being called for that pass interference. He comes up, makes the first hit he can following that flag. What a game Watkins had last week. An interception, 4 passes broken up. It seemed like he was in every play, and he's a backup to B.J. Ward at free safety.
They think he's going to be a great player, though, and I point out again, Garnett jerseys, what looks like by the dozen on that tackle, as they are on most. Gang tackle.
Against backups, but with mostly backups, Maryland finally an extended drive. 12th play here. Very short yardage. And the clock down to 3.5 minutes remaining. First catch of the night this time is by Vernon Davis.
I said Orlando Evans was a young quarterback. He's young in experience. He hasn't played much. He is a senior, having come from junior college. And that wonderful junior college program at San Francisco City College. George Rush out there, a marvelous coach. He does a great job academically and football-wise. Evans having to grow up in a hurry. He hasn't gotten to play much at Maryland.
Harrison Mershon, 3rd and 9, Maryland. Pass thrown behind Josh Allen. And the Terps will have to try and convert another 4th down.
In a game like this, if you're Ralph Friedgen, you just want that clock to run on out before somebody else gets hurt. If you're Bobby Bowden and Mickey Andrews and Jeff Bowden, you want to extend it so you can get more of your kids some playing time, because that's the reward. Mickey Andrews said last spring they had 8 guys, seniors, that weren't able to practice, and the young guys did all the hard work, so they need to get to play.
Last chance or close to it for the Terrapins. And Evans will have to scramble. Throw on the run. Not nearly enough for the first down. JoJo Walker meets Stanford Samuels.
talking about closing on a football, and Samuels just backpedals, gives him a little bit of a room there, and then explodes on the receiver. Ball in the air.
Well, maybe the oldest adage in football is that you play like you practice. This is how they practice. They're forced to do this every day.
Tell you what, Florida State looking like they are very much back.
When Jeff and Sharon's baby arrived, they knew their needs would change overnight.
We need a bigger house, maybe a minivan. And what about college?
What they didn't know was I could help.
Now the same State Farm agent who helped you plan for just in case can help you with what could be, with auto loans, mortgages, even college funding.
Minivan.
For help with banking, insurance, and investing, talk to your agent today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
A few of us had actually never built a set before, so there was a learning curve involved.
When working in television, lighting is important. Now, the best sets are your basic Western frame with open sight lines.
Yes. So the audience can see us, and we can see the camera.
Exactly.
Can I use a jackhammer?
There were times when it looked like everybody might not be on the same page.
This week on Sunday NFL Countdown. Fresh faces.
You want some of this?
Fresh mouths. And a mouthful of predictions for the 2003 season.
You want to make this team a playoff team, boys?
Plus, Hammond and Arizona. Sunday at 11 a.m. on ESPN.
Coming up on SportsCenter, top 25 teams cruising or bruising and losing. Complete coverage of another upset Saturday, plus the day's top 10 college football plays. SportsCenter after the game, ESPN.
Scott McBrien's night in a nutshell. 6 of 18, 61 yards. That wouldn't be a good quarter. That's his entire night. 1 interception, no touchdowns. And 35-10 Florida State. 2:47 to go. They will play Fabian Walker at quarterback this series. Junior out of Americus, Georgia, which has produced, quiz for you, Bill, a couple of notable coaches.
Yes. Dan Reeves.
And
Chan Gailey.
Here you go.
Georgia Tech coach who suddenly got popular today.
Ryan Reynolds on this carry down to Rob.
Guys, Walker was back in his hometown of Americus on Monday, not for some home cooking, but rather to see his brother, Antorius Merritt, just returned from combat duty in Operation Iraqi Freedom. Got back late last Saturday night. First thing he did, run to that TV, catch the second half, and saw his brother take a couple snaps against the Tar Heels.
Fabian is the all-time leading passer in Georgia's high school history. He started the Sugar Bowl last year after the Chris Ricks oversleeping incident, causing him to miss a test. So Walker a junior, Ricks a junior. Wyatt Sexton coming up behind those two. Redshirt freshman, son of the running backs coach Billy Sexton.
Big picture question for you. We approached it a while ago. How high a ranking should Florida State have? They have depth just about everywhere.
Higher than 10th.
Yes.
Got to be convinced of that.
They're a top 5 team, but it'll take them some time to get up there because some other people will have to get beat.
But why? That's crazy. If you're that good, put them up there.
First of all, do you drop Ohio State after barely surviving San Diego State? They can't be number 2 again, can they?
No, they cannot. And Miami's getting beaten, right? So they're out of there.
Miami's
USC's doing well.
So they're going to move up some.
USC moves up.
They'll move up.
Texas was
fair amount. So, I mean, they've beaten a real opponent here tonight, and they've beaten them handily. And the voters, I hope, will show some sanity, but there's no guarantee of that.
Measure the defenses.
That's why we have something to talk about.
Look at the defenses. Figure out, in your opinion, who has the better defense, and then just start putting them in order.
Well, you're preaching to the choir.
Chris Hall, backup punter, and he gets off a beauty. Shooter on a 54-yard punt.
Yeah, and he grabbed his hamstring. The last thing Ralph Friedgen wanted to see, and it makes me wonder why Suter's out there with 42 seconds left in the game.
Yeah, he's going to make it off.
Yeah, jogging with no pain. Pain is going to be psychic after this kind of drubbing.
Good point.
Sunday morning, Chris Berman and company have the NFL Countdown presented by Old Spice beginning at 11 a.m. Eastern. Also get a weekly feature from John Madden every Sunday right up to kickoff. Final 42 seconds here. Orlando Evans closing the game at quarterback for Maryland. So for the first time in Ralph Friedgen's career as their head coach, they will lose back-to-back games within the same season. Again, last year they started 1-2, finished 11-3. This is not necessarily the death knell for the 2003 season for the Terps. At least they have Florida State out of the way now, their toughest game.
And you know, you see in the ACC, you've got NC State losing, you've got Virginia losing. Everybody, who knows what can happen. The only team I don't think is going to lose that often would be Florida State.
Next two are at home for them, the Citadel, West Virginia. They'll be big favorites at Eastern Michigan. Home for two more, Clemson and Duke.
Easy one there at Georgia Tech, isn't it? Oh, excuse me.
I'm going to ignore that. How you could say that after today, I really don't know. You must not watch football.
I watched every snap of today. I watched you jump around, too.
Good for you.
Meanwhile, Florida State with the #2 schedule in the country, including Colorado, Miami.
For the win. The kick on the way. He missed it. Wide left.
And Notre Dame at South Bend. NC State here November 15th before they close in the Swamp in Gainesville November 29th. Only Alabama statistically with a tougher schedule than the Noles. Evans broken up by Gerard Ross.
And until today, I would have said Florida would not have been one of those stronger opponents on that schedule.
Boy, you got to change your thinking about them and Miami.
At the Swamp, I mean, you know, you're talking about a tough challenge at the end of the season to go into the Swamp after all those other games.
Soon enough, Bobby Bowden will be playing Miami as an ACC opponent.
He said, I want him in the league so everybody else will have to play him. He's so refreshing. Don't ever count him out, folks.
Well, a fitting windup to a dominating performance by this Florida State defense. Charles Howard, junior from Lake Butler, with the sack. And Florida State improving to 2-0. Maryland falling to 0-2. Using its last time out here. So Maryland will try to get the win column against the Citadel next week, while Florida State has the Ramblin' Wreck. How can they possibly survive that? Georgia Tech coming to call next Saturday night.
Well, you just have to be proud of a bunch of youngsters that have endured amazing adversity, and a true freshman quarterback in Reggie Ball, who's going to be a star. And they took on the mighty Auburn Tigers, or at least everybody thought they'd be mighty coming into this season. And it's really a big win for Chan Gailey and the Georgia Tech program. And we tease about me being an alumnus, but you got to be proud for those guys wherever you went to school.
How about John Tanu, the defensive coordinator at Georgia Tech?
Oh, man, what a job he did.
Auburn to 3 points.
They did a great job against BYU. They just turned the ball over 4 times. And the offense couldn't make a first down today for most of the game. So the defense really took on the pressure and did a great job.
Evans throws complete. And Rich Parson driven out of bounds with 2 seconds still on the clock.
This is what you want if you're the Maryland coaching staff. You guys are still competing. Evans steps up, delivers a nice ball. He may have to go in a big game next week and compete. This is going to help him playing against this kind of competition.
So on a day full of upsets around the country, number 10 ranked Seminoles take care of business and hammer Maryland for the 14th time in as many meetings.
And about the same average score, isn't it?
Pretty close. And this Despite spotting Maryland, 7 points on the first Florida State play from scrimmage. The interception returned by DeQuell Jackson does not stand up. Final play, unless there's a flag, into the end zone and incomplete, and Florida State can go celebrate another win over Maryland by a final of 35-10. Maybe it won't be a national championship year, but it might be, and you couldn't say that the last couple of years about Florida State. They do look like they're all the way back. In a shutout win over North Carolina and an easy win over Maryland to open the 2003 season. For Bill Curry, Craig James, Rob Stone, our entire ESPN crew, Dave Barnett. So long tonight from Tallahassee, the College Game Day scoreboard. Coming up next.
All right, Dave, thank you.